Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rwby, Volume 6, Commentary. Tracks? I don't know what this is called anymore. Hello, my name is Carrie Shawcross. I'm the co-writer, director, showrunner, whatever, for the
Executive
show.
producer. Don't forget executive producer.
I wasn't going to say it, but I appreciate
That's why
you
you have
saying
friends.
it. Yeah, thank you. Who was that voice that praised me?
This is Connor Pickens. I am the co-director and lead editor.
And next to him is...
Hi, my name is Brian Lee. I'm the art associate producer for this volume.
And next to him...
I am Penelope Niederlander, and I am the lead compositor.
And it's just a couch full of friends.
Friend's a strong word.
Oh, okay, cool, great start. Hey, this
we're best
long
friends.
hey, can we talk about this long ass shot that Rachel and I really wanted to do, and everybody hated us for afterwards? There was this is pseudo inspiration for this was back in Rwby season 9. Monty did like a 10,000 frame shot, because he wanted to, and because he wanted, like, I think somebody said, you can't do a 10,000 frame shot, and he was like, watch. So I brought, because for some reason also we keep doing trains and motion fights, so I brought that up as inspiration when we were doing boards, and then we did this really long ass shot that was all done by Melanie Stern. It ended up being all she did on the fight for 2 weeks because it took the entire time. There's too much to talk about. Let's talk about this other long ass shot and how much everybody loved me for it.
I mean, so assets didn't hate you because this was the same asset from Volume 5 where we reused the White Fang headquarters with Sienna Khan.
That's true.
Rest in peace.
They've mopped up the blood.
Yeah.
Right. But then,
we had to add it back in.
This is why it's not worth it to clean.
exactly. Yeah.
It's just gonna happen again.
It's like people who make their beds, you're just going to get back in it.
Yeah.
So, Penny, did y'all end up putting the blood back in? I can't remember.
We put all the blood in this shot
Ooh.
and the other shots of the scene because some things changed.
Some things
We had
changed.
to put it in multiple times.
Well, it's always, it's always this like weird balance of, chicken or egg, dead body or blood, right? It's like, assets can't put it in at the beginning because they don't know the placement of the bodies yet. And then once we have the placement of the bodies, it's like, well, comp could put it in. I thought it turned out great. And
It did turn out
It also
awesome.
like animates a little bit out, like you get like a little puddle. Like,
You know what else
totally
turned
doesn't
out
do
great?
Ah, it
This
totally
train
does.
station. This is a great train station. Everybody.
Yeah,
worked
this
very
was
hard on
the
this.
first
dope
new
set.
set of the season, I believe.
yeah.
If you don't count the Adam short.
And who does? I mean, I kind of do, I guess.
I think it's essential canon. Actually, we've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
The timeline, but
Oh, it's complicated. Okay, it's end. Oh man, I messed this up. It's end of Volume 5. No, I'll come back to this. I already forgot it. Let's talk about. We also got a bunch of new crowd characters. We switched how we did crowds this year. We switched from a piece of software called Gollum to Houdini, and everybody likes it a lot more, and it was very helpful. It's funny how it works, and I think this is probably true for a lot of productions where the amount of time we were able to spend on those suitcases and like crowd characters and like just like episode 1 stuff compared to some of the other stuff. Well, we get more people, I guess, towards the end, so that helps.
Yeah, but
But we put a lot went into these sets to just try and show like how big Mistral is. That was something we weren't really able to do last year as much as we wanted to. So we wanted to try and show like, look, this is a really populated area. These are like more of the inspiration behind where the buildings came from.
I love this little tease with the bag. We never find out.
Look, man, it's
What's
one
in
of my
the
biggest. It's one of my biggest regrets.
You could show it next season. I think.
Where it's in the plan. I promise.
Isn't there a bag character short coming
Yeah.
to talk about the train station even more, to even show how big it was too, we initially did some concept art to show what the outside of the train station was going to look like
Right.
as well. We were talking about how it was going to be integrated into the side of the mountain, and we showed off some of the rails leaving the mountain and going to other mountains adjacent to Mistral.
Yeah.
It was a really cool and very thought-provoking.
And then we didn't use it.
Yeah.
Like production goes. No, I mean, I think it, I wanted to, and I appreciated that I was like, y'all asked me like, hey, do you think we'll ever see outside this? And in my head, I'm like, I mean, it'd be cool to get a shot outside. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. And then, 3 days later, there's an entire like mood piece for it kind of thing. I think it's something going forward we can do. Like we started incorporating more matte paintings this year, and I think that really helped. Let us expand what we do without having to build something that is 3D and reusable.
Right.
So I want us to do more of that.
Right, for sure.
In the future, for sure.
Does anyone want to talk about the food that we put in the background
And
to
how-
just make it look more lively?
How
What is
delicious
it?
it looks. I like the Thai
Some
tea.
boba tea.
Someone
Yeah.
left a full Thai tea just sitting there.
They didn't like it. They
wasteful.
didn't mean to order boba, and then they got it and they're like, "What is this gummy in here?"
I don't think y'all ever noticed, or unless you were like actually in the scene, but we put little Easter eggs on the boba cups.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
What does it say?
On each little boba cup, the lids is the Rwby Chibi characters,
Oh, that's awesome.
and we just changed it out so we had like 4 variants for 4 different girls.
Oh, that's really cute. Oh, speaking of really cute, Ilya's new outfit.
Yeah.
Cash Ilya. This is another example of hoping nobody would hate me because I was like, Ilya needs a new outfit. Also, she's on screen for 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but she looks good.
It's very, I don't know. I like it a lot.
Wasn't the original script supposed to be her in a kimono?
Yeah, we talked about, trying to do, something that worked a little bit more for the Mistral area. But then I think when we talked about it more, it made sense to do something a little bit more Ilya related. Plus,
Right.
In the future, no spoilers, if we get to see her again, this would probably still fit her a little bit more than that specific thing. So,
Right.
honestly, I think that came from, I think we said kimono because we were talking about using an extra, one of the background characters' outfits, and then I think I said that, and you could see, just a hint of a tear in my eye, and you're like, hey, Carrie, we could make a whole outfit.
Yeah. And Erin was the one who concepted it.
Yeah, she was. It's,
Oh, look who's back.
my mom is so happy. She gives me crap all the time for Neptune not being in the show more.
I really like this little scene, and kind of like all this stuff in the train station. I feel like we just cut loose a little bit with the more fun, kind of anime, silly stuff, and I think it worked really well.
was-
Especially like this little ad lib of Neptune going over there to try to hit on Ilya.
It's it's dumb. It's dumb. I mean, it's the wrong tree.
Oh man, can we talk about the glass in this building?
I was contemplating it or not because I also didn't want to trigger Penny.
It's okay. We learned some lessons
We did.
from this. I mean, I'm glad we pushed and got the glass looking nice. But it was difficult. Yeah,
I am.
Oh.
Yay, dummy
I love that
images.
effect.
I appreciate what everybody did for chapter 1 so much because it was a very big episode with a lot of new things and exactly what you're talking about, how we pushed for this glass to look good and stuff. I feel like that happened across the board and led to this really great start of a season. And I know it was hell for a couple weeks, but I really appreciate it because I think this is one of my favorite first chapters of a volume.
It's
Yeah.
definitely my favorite of the seasons that I've worked on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we worked really hard, but we learned a lot of good stuff, and we were
yeah.
able to apply it throughout the entire season, so...
Yeah, before we were mentioning this was a new crowds solution. There was a lot of learning for crowds.
Yeah.
Just a lot of new things in this chapter.
Yeah,
Even this scene has fog, and I don't think we did that a lot. And, interiors and stuff like that. And so
yeah. There's
marrying all those different elements together.
yeah, because every shot has the the redshift environment, the pencil characters, the Houdini custom made shaders for all of the crowds, the additional elements that y'all are adding in comp and lighting. It gets to be a lot. Speaking of a lot, the train.
Yeah!
I think if we make another train in a Rooster Teeth animated production, everybody's gonna revolt.
I think we'll know how to do it, though.
I think so. Hey, Brian and Penny, do you want to talk about how the train set works? Because it's kind of crazy.
Oh, man. So the train, each individual car itself is a separate set, but then the mountain itself is another set. So it is a set within a set.
Right. And it's pretty common, and something we've employed in the past, and probably something that's employed in other places is basically when we're doing exterior shots of the train, the idea is, well, instead of the train moving, the set is moving. It's like some old school film. There's a projection in the
screen.
background, right? Exactly.
Someone on a bike
Just
making
because
the screen move.
if the train is moving, then all of the characters on top have to actually be physically moving, and then they've got to run on top of that, and it just gets more complicated for animation for everybody.
Right.
So we started out with this just basically giant straight length of train and set, and as we're experimenting with it, we also decided, well, that also means that at certain angles, it kind of, you see it go off into nothing.
Yeah.
Comp could have added a ton of like extra fog and stuff, and we did do that, but it would have had to be way more extreme. And then we thought, well, what if it was just a giant donut?
Right.
So this entire set is basically, a circle track where the point is like way out in the middle of the circle, and the whole thing is just rotating constantly.
Right.
I think it's hella clever. I'm so glad that we did it this way because of all the stuff that we have to do with 3D space. We do not have the 3D tools.
No.
in After Effects that everyone else does.
It's After Effects is a lot, but saying it's a little bit closer to 2.5D, I think is probably more accurate.
Yeah.
I will say the reason why we initially went with a long track instead of the donut was in Red vs. Blue, when Monty did that train fight, it was originally a giant donut.
Right.
But the problem with that is because it's a donut, it was super easy to see where the repeat was.
Right.
So we initially tried the long track to get past that, to make it, to cheat the idea that this is just continually going in different areas constantly. But that again, as you said, it came with its own set of problems. So we went back to the donut. But then when we went back to the donut, we had to figure out how we're gonna make the different part of sets look different from each other. So in the donuts, we had different sections called pre-tunnel, tunnel, and then post-tunnel, which you will see coming pretty close.
Yeah,
to here.
and a big part of it is the types of trees, the amount of snow, that kind of stuff, just to kind of try and sprinkle it out. I still don't want to pass up. We did pass it up. But 3 scenes ago was, I think, chronologically one of your first scenes, Connor, the Black Gang one.
1070, where all the girls are in the train car for the first time. Yeah, that was the first scene that I got to direct. It was very. It was a good scene, I think, for you to start me out on. It was pretty
very wholesome
pretty
scene.
chill.
It was, but it had a lot going on. It was definitely. I had to learn a lot about giving up, and I mean, it was big. It was a Blake Gang moment. But I thought you did a great job with it.
Thanks, man.
I was really happy that people caught that the bunk beds were the same configuration as the dorm rooms.
Oh yeah.
We had Scott Centeno, who is a new artist we reached out to for this season, to be essentially our vehicle and hardware concept artist. And when we were talking to him, we wanted to do that callback. We're like, look back at the original dorm rooms for the bunk bed setups. But yeah. And speaking of new concept artists, the debut of the Grim Sphinx and Grim Manticore.
Yeah, do you want to tell the story?
So for this season, we reached out to a artist named Rwby Kim to be essentially our Grim artist.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about how you found
Rwby? Let's keep talking about who should talk about what.
I'll talk about it. I know nothing about it.
So during the scripting process, we decided early on we want to try some different Grim and stuff, and one of the ones we came up with was a Manticore. And we had the idea; it was in the script. The whole Manticore Sphinx thing, all of that was in the script. And I was on the Rwby subreddit, and a fan had posted their concept for specifically a Grim Manticore. And my first thought was, oh, this is awesome. And then my second thought was, dang it, now they're gonna think we stole it. We hadn't visually concepted it at all yet. But I was like, dang it, they're gonna think we stole the idea. And then my third thought was, well, why don't we steal their idea by contacting them and hiring them and having them actually do it for real? And it worked out super great. She was really talented, awesome. and it started with just having her basically flesh out her Manticore to fit the show's needs. It needed to be winged. And then we gave her the Sphinx, and then we ended up giving her stuff later in the season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, initially when we contacted her, we were just like, let's just use the Manticore only.
Yeah.
But then we brought up the idea. I was like, wouldn't it be awesome if we reach out to this artist and be like, hey, you're clearly a fan of Rwby. You're clearly a part of the community. Let's get you involved in the project.
That arm break a minute ago was so brutal. I think that turned out really well. The cameras leading up to that are it's pretty effective.
We wanted to, I knew that Dee's death was probably going to come across a little goofy, so I wanted to try and make if you listen to the music there, and Alex Abraham, he scored that section. He promises me he didn't do it intentionally, but the chorus there kind of goes oh D as he falls down.
It's like choral. It's great.
Yeah, and the entire like audio and edit team was just like they were like. We were doing a watch through of it, and everybody started giggling, and it was just like, okay, what's the inside joke? Because it's also I want to make sure like, is there something dumb? Like, do we need to fix something? But I was like, no, it just it kind of like sounds like that.
Can we talk about Dudley's weapon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So originally it was just a rifle, but then we had to make it transform.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's right, of course, it's Rwby.
Yeah.
So we made it transform into the ability to be an axe, right? Which he lost when his arm broke. I don't think we ever got to see that transformation happen, right?
Look, Brian.
Yes.
Things happen and things change.
Mm-hmm.
I think you see it like briefly in the background, maybe. Like I think, I don't know.
I'm gonna keep saying it. Character short.
Character short.
I remember
Dee and Dudley character short. Their origin story.
I just think the funny story was when we were making it transform, everyone was making it really cool. You're like, no, dumb it down. It's Dudley. Dumb it down. It's gonna be simple. It's gonna be like idiot proof.
Yeah, because he's our bro huntsman. We want like we've shown, you know, we always want to show more. We've shown some good huntsmen and huntresses. We gotta show some of the duds, so to speak.
They just graduated.
Sadly, no.
Oh, they didn't even graduate.
Sadly, no, they graduated, but not. They've been in this
out
game
for like 10 years.
for a while. Hey,
Oh, no, I mean, they barely graduated. Sorry, yes.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
these are C students.
Yeah.
These get degrees. Just say.
That's true. Who is this old lady and why does she matter? Yeah, she probably doesn't. It's fine.
Oh yeah, we show her in an earlier scene too.
Yeah, she's just like very briefly.
But with that one, it was like a real struggle. We were trying to figure out like, oh, we need to show her.
Yeah.
But how do we do it in a way that doesn't totally telegraph that she is like going to be a central character for the remainder of the season?
It is definitely a thing where if we had not revealed her at the end of this episode, it would have been like, all right, who's the old lady?
Yeah.
My wife caught it. She was
Really?
like, she saw her walking down the hallway and is like, I want to know more about her.
Yeah.
The first shot when she's.
I don't remember which one. One of those
she
hallway
pans her-
shots.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to, Penny, you want to talk about some of the crazy effect stuff going on in this and how, like...
This was a massive fight. I mean, like, honestly, the snow was the hardest part because we had to dial in the depth of the snow in every single shot. But
like, not just the stuff raining down, too, but y'all also kind of added in this fog that let us... you know, not show that the background was going on forever. Cause
right.
There's definitely angles where, you know, talking about that donut, talking about the, you know, seeing too far away, like you could start to see the other side sometimes. So we kind of had to be careful with that.
Yeah, we really had to dial it in because sometimes it'd be too much and it'd be all blown out white. But there's a lot of really cool effects. Like we redid a lot of effects that we used, like the new muzzle blasts and we have these fireball effects and.
That was one of the first things you did for like R&D for the season was you made this like crazy. Like you basically it to me at least it seemed like you almost made like an After Effects plugin like
That was okay, so something I really wanted to do this season that we were working on is like we were building effects and like cataloging them as opposed to just kind of like per episode and with the idea of like being able to place things a lot easier and make them really consistent throughout the season.
Yeah, and you know y'all you know comp and art work together to you know place 3D nulls on areas that we think that effects are going to show up very often, so it becomes a lot easier to. It's one of those things where it's like when they fire, the muzzle blast has to be there. There's no getting around that. It's going to be there. So how do we make it the easiest it can be, and then also as cool as it can be? You know.
I think that we really like did a pretty decent job at like taking a lot of effects that were 3D things that were also kind of a pain in the ass.
Right.
You know, pain in the neck, and making them like really 2D. Like I wanted to keep them flat and anime looking and.
Yeah, we you know definitely, and this some of this over the course of the season kind of honed in on like that you know dual or tritone effect on things that maybe started out looking a little bit more realistic, like some of the Sims or just like stock that we wanted to use.
Yeah, my team is sick of hearing it, but like I'm like put double glows on everything. Like I was very specific about the way that the glows looked. And
no, you got the look down. We also.
Oh, you did this.
I did split screens. That doesn't even don't even give me credit. The thing I was gonna say that I did that was probably more of a pain in the ass than it was worth. I'm fine admitting that was to do the camera shake. We overscanned the entire thing, which I'm sure everybody loved me for. But basically we rendered every shot with like 5 to 10% above 1080, so that if we did camera shake, we did it in After Effects, but then we wouldn't be losing fidelity, which worked out fine. I just think there's probably some technical things that we had to solve that we wouldn't have had to if I hadn't had that dumb idea. Oh, hey, look, I love. I'm pretty sure Alex did this cue as well, and he added in some like record scratches and stuff like, for her like theme. I love the intro.
Oh man, this intro is so hype.
I like it a lot.
It's so cool.
I think it's good. Those little like flashes to the black at the beginning were like a point of contention. On like the night we were releasing the episode, I was like, oh, we gotta like spice up the beginning a little bit. Like, what can we do?
Yeah, no, I'm really glad we did it, and it was definitely it only worked that way because it was just an edit change for sure.
Yeah, you usually cannot make changes on the last day of.
Well, I always push that.
Well, fortunately,
And you did some good color.
Yeah. No, we this was I'm really happy with how this came together.
Right.
Definitely, the intros usually come together a little last minute. I think this is one of the closest like late nights towards an episode release kind of thing that I remember us doing. And then the Jin's book. There was actually another shot of Salem right after this. That was more of a close up, but we decided to cut it out to kind of, keep that mystery going of exactly who it was. I can't remember the number of people who thought it was like, I think it was Jean's mom was one idea.
Yeah.
There's a couple things, but I love this last shot so much.
For sure.
And that was another one where we changed at the last minute because it actually holds on that last pose for
a good bit longer,
a good long
right?
while.
Yeah,
we cut it pretty much right as they get to it. I think it's pretty effective. Anyway, thank you for watching.
Yeah. Chapter 2. Oh, spooky. Who is that?
The chapter where we revealed the thing that we didn't actually think would be a reveal at the end of Volume 5.
Yeah. All right. Who is that? Who was that voice?
Hi, it's me, Miles Luna, co-writer of Rwby, and now not busy and can come in and do commentary.
Yay!
And next to him is...
Geo, lead rigging artist.
And then next to her is...
Shane Davis, Viz post producer.
Yeah. Ooh, even efficient in your your delivery. I just want to say I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all very much.
We love you too.
Who are you?
I'm Carrie. I was in the last one. They don't need to know.
Boy, go ahead.
No, you.
I was gonna say,
I just talked a bunch.
It's exciting. We were really excited for Cinder's brief, albeit really fun storyline this volume.
Yeah.
And really getting to spend some more time in the sides of Mistral that we didn't see in Volume 5, and seeing her kind of claw her way back into a position of power.
It was tough reading all the comments at the end of Volume 5, which, not that they weren't valid, but of just... Oh man, I wish we'd gotten to see Mistral more. And we're like, you're going to, I promise.
Patience.
But this is a fun little section to write. I got Terminator vibes from this entire
definitely.
scene.
Absolutely.
I need your clothes.
Poor lady just walked into.
She was just trying to help.
I know.
She was just trying to help.
That's why you can't be a good person.
Now this scene,
the house.
Now this scene was definitely, we got some lines in here that were in response to some valid criticisms from Volume 5.
Yeah, I think Nora speaks.
Yeah.
She speaks the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
I specifically gave so the way that Connor and I co-direct is basically, we look at the script together and we kind of like, it's me, but I make sure he's cool with it all, but like, split up the episodes of like what scene each of us are going to direct. I very specifically gave him this one so that even though we were back in the house, it would at least be like a different voice directing it. Just because I was hoping it would be different.
It was a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Was
How
it
did it-
intentional to have the flashback?
It was, there's when we were writing, there's some information that we wanted to get out, and we also, wanted to start Volume 6 with this forward momentum of like they're already on the trip, they're already going, but we wanted to also see a little bit of that fallout from the immediacy of Volume 5.
Yeah, in the first draft, actually, this scene more or less took place on board one of the train cabins And we even had a bit where it was implied that Nora taught Blake everything that she needed to know off screen with the assistance of whiteboards.
Yeah. We're gonna have this little gag.
Yeah, and we had some jokes that we really liked about it, but yeah, to Carrie's point, we did not want to start off episode 1 with just a whole bunch of talking like we may have done in past volumes. So yeah, we decided we'd already started playing with time a little bit in the first episode by kicking things off with a fight and then jumping back to the train station. So we kind of told ourselves, one more jump around isn't going to hurt, especially with chapter 3 coming up.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
that's kind of its own thing. I definitely think this is the best this house has ever looked, though, thanks to the lighting team and the comm team, and I feel like there's a lot of new practices that we put in this year that like really helped solidify the look and also just make everybody's lives a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
So that they could focus on the art more, which is something we still want to do. It adds a lot of pressure, though.
This was one of my favorite bits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Connor really pushed Nora's manic energy every chance he got this season.
Yeah.
It was great.
This is so good.
It was definitely one of the first who came to me. He was like, "Hey, I don't know how you're gonna feel about this." I was like, "All right, hey, that's like." When anytime an artist comes to me and is like, "So you might not like this, but it's like that's good because it's like I want to, we should push the boundaries." Oh, Shane, you want to talk about this? The bike effects.
Well,
I thought we did a great job with this.
Oh, yeah,
This
yeah,
was
yeah.
like pinnacle, exact how we should do things. Where, y'all R&D'd it beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
You had an artist drawing it even beforehand. Was this how much of this ended up being 2D or After Effects?
this was all After Effects.
was all
Yeah,
After
Chris
Effects?
Taylor did it, and I think there was multiple revisions, and then we added like the snow covering on the top and how it fell properly.
Yeah, and we kind of had done a version before animation even really got to it. So then that way, when they did get to it, y'all were prepared. That was I feel like a big thing you really brought in was making sure that R&D time went to doing a first pass of all these things, so it just became more like implementing. I definitely am so happy that we got all the footprints in too. I feel like that added so much.
It
and
does.
It grand scheme of things, like y'all got it down to a science so that it wasn't that huge of a thing.
Yeah, it's a shout out to Heather Rogers for that and the rest of the comp team. But like, if people knew how we put those footprints in, they'd be like, "Really?" Like,
Well, now I want to know.
well,
you
I mean,
say.
we're just placing it in the After Effects in the 3D
Yeah.
world
That's fair.
space
We tried, I think, a bunch of
with
different
no
like.
nulls.
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah.
Can you briefly explain
Yeah.
what that is?
She was like, now I need to go add nulls.
I know.
Yeah.
For
That's why we're
viewers that may
asking
not know
for
what a null is.
So she's eyeing every foot
Yeah.
placement.
That's crazy.
We talked about it a little bit, but now that you're here, Gio, if you wanna like talk about like I feel like rigging is very obviously how the animators interact with the characters, but I feel like there's also a lot that is not that, like in the last episode when we were talking with Penny, we were talking about like placing nulls on like ends of muzzles and stuff like that for weapons, but
Right.
like there's a lot more that goes on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we need to do, not just making things move or making things able to move, but I mean, I guess we could have placed a null, which a null is pretty much just
It's a locator.
it's
is
a
another
locator.
word for it.
It's a thing that identifies a space in the world that lets other teams figure out that space without having to eyeball things. I'm sure having a null at every footstep would have been a big help.
Next season.
Next season, yeah.
Yeah, we were still able to sell it, and it looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it really does. I love all of the scenes that take place in the snow. And though I feel bad for our characters,
Yeah.
it really does, like... I was so excited for us to really start looking at new horizons and locales and environments and things. And the falling snow, like... It's such a small thing, but it really makes the space feel like a living environment.
It just keeps it alive and just keeps it, and I think one of the things I like about it is there's a lot where we want to keep the characters more still, and it makes it still without feeling boring for like
Yeah.
like it keeps it going. when we so during this whole Oscar struggling bit right here, when we mocapped that, we actually that was Scott Morgan, the animation production associate producer, but he was mocapping Oscar, and I actually stood behind him. I wrapped a belt around his waist and was pulling back on him the whole time, so he was having to like force himself forward against me. I thought it turned out really great. This is what I was really excited about. I remember having a meeting with y'all about, when we were deciding how we're gonna put the snow in, and I was like, so what happens when it freezes? And there's like, yeah, we can make it freeze. And it's like, and then it's gonna stay frozen in multiple shots at multiple angles. Is that cool? And basically it was like, yeah, it's fine. Like,
Nice.
Y'all were able to find solutions to so many things that I'm so glad that I'm not on the comp team anymore. Because y'all do a way better job with it than I do.
Crow has a lot of emotions.
We contemplated rearranging that shot so much just because like that was everybody's reaction.
What's up, girl?
Best girl.
I like Jen a lot.
Yeah.
Jen is so much fun.
Gin smoke.
It looks great.
I love the dress made of smoke.
Yes.
That you guys were able to put together.
Yeah, I thought it turned out really well. And then all of the additional comp love on top of that. That was a thing we were talking about in the last chapter too is, I think comp did a really great job of marrying all of the different elements. Every shot, it comes from 4 different departments and of different types of complexity, but they kind of bring the whole thing together. More rain, and then we even got, look at the raindrops on the umbrellas.
I love the raindrops.
There's so many like little details, and I think I don't think it had fully happened by this point, but one of the things I thought y'all did was really great was how we ended up like splitting the teams up. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So with the comp team, we were having comp artists doing comp effects and comping. So we weren't playing off of our strengths early in the season. Later in the season, Penny, our lead in that department, suggested let's play off our team strengths and move compositors that are really good at layering things and getting depth of field correctly, and then get the comp effects team that really can fill out the scene with the effects, and that's everything that's needed for all the action.
Yeah,
and then the atmosphere stuff, like with the rain and snow and all that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of Alan and Heather doing the templates that y'all use like per scene. But I feel like what that really let us do is, if it's one artist doing everything for the shot, then they have to do everything that's essential, and then they get to do the extras. And we start to run out of time, then they just don't get to do the extras. Yeah. But this way, we were able to tackle both at the same time. Miles, you want to talk about Little Miss?
I would love to talk about Little Miss. Little Miss Malachite, as most people could probably guess, inspired by Little Miss Muffet, who... This was, it's always fun coming up with little side characters that make the world feel more lived in. It's always really fun. Like, we'll have a character that's only going to be in, 2 episodes, but we really want to, when we can, give the idea of, that this person has a really rich backstory, that they're an important person in the community that they're in, and all that stuff. And Little Miss is, I think, a great example of that. And also, an example of a character that we were able to kind of have some fun with in regards to shouting out back to the Yellow trailer by making her related to the Malachite twins, who I think appeared in Volume 2 briefly. But outside of that, it was really more of just like a cameo from the trailer. But the canonical relationship here is Lil Miss is their mother, and they went off to go live in Vale and learned the ways of being a bad person from Mommy Dearest.
Gio, how much did her dress scare you when you saw it?
It was scary.
Yeah.
Man, rigging something that poofy.
Yeah.
It's I mean,
and
thankfully
and
she doesn't
sitting.
move a whole lot.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That it was kind of like a character trait that ended up working out for her outfit. It was, we figured she's very mob boss like. She doesn't get her hands dirty, so then she's just gonna be sitting for the most part.
She's a more intimidating, effective version of Junior.
Yeah.
But it was fun coming up with like, this is a strong character that could fight but chooses not to because she's positioned herself in a way that where she doesn't have to. She has people she's surrounded by people that will happily fight for her, and that was kind of a fun character dynamic.
One of the sorry, this is going to another thing, but like one of the things about Jin that I like the most that I don't think people will notice right away necessarily is how we did her hair.
Yeah.
It's we went over, we knew she was gonna be very flowy, so we went out of our way to separate her hair more than we normally do for characters. It's always this kind of mix between we want their hair to be as flowy as possible, but we also at the end when it's supposed to look like an anime needs to be also kind of just like hair chunk. So with Jin, we kind of like separated out more to let y'all do more with it.
I mean, we had a lot more freedom with her hair than we do with, let's say, with Yang's. And even later on in the season with Summer's hair, we really went all out with the splitting off of the strands, and it looks really nice and flowy.
I think we should keep doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
This is the hardest set to do.
Oh my god, and we're gonna get into a lot of chapter 3 stuff very shortly. I just wanted to call back to that moment though, where all the girls draw their weapons on Crow. That was a really big, exciting, scary moment for our characters, and the beginning of something for this season, which is the kids are gonna start making some bigger choices here, and we're gonna talk more about that
for sure
later on.
Young Salem is Bay.
Great last words.
Thank you.
Oh, chapter 3. All right, so you've got me, Carrie. You've got Miles back. You got Penny back.
Hello.
And then we've got next to Penny,
Joel Man.
What
do you do?
What
I
you do?
animate, direct a little.
Yeah. And then
Melanie Stern. I'm assistant lead animator.
there you go.
Heckin' yeah, you are.
Got the titles in. Oh boy, chapter 3.
There still to this day exists a Word doc file on my very first laptop tucked away in my apartment labeled The Trials and Tribulations of Salem the Witch, and it was one of the first text files that we ever wrote for Rwby. And I can't believe, I still cannot believe that this story from ages ago is now public.
I'm just so happy people liked it.
Carrie,
I was
Carrie,
so scared.
I was terrified. This episode scared me more than any episode we've ever written, and it took a lot of writing. I think
It took a lot of everything.
it took a lot of oh my god!
I think without exaggeration, this was the most difficult episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
And that is with, I think, one of the best teams we've ever had, and like the most technology and we had all of the resources that made this possible, and it was still one of the hardest things we've ever done.
We were so fortunate in that there was a number of story points and storylines that we wanted to do in the past that we just straight up, like physically, technologically speaking, could not do. And then Volume 6 ended up being like the perfect time for a lot of this stuff for us to finally be ready to tell it. Cue Walt Disney music, and Oz is dead.
Actually, speaking of music, real quick, I want to go back to the end of the last chapter. That was actually that melody, and I think the melody is going right now is actually Casey, the vocalist Casey Lee Williams. She actually wrote that melody.
No way.
That ended up being like their song. So I thought that was really cool.
The origin of Salem as the baddie everybody knows and loves and hates. We really love this idea of our main antagonist being a character from a story that ends, and so they lived happily ever after, and then going just a few steps past that. Since Rwby is so inspired by fairy tales and things like that, we wanted to make sure that like that big like fairy tale trope was kind of touched on a little bit in our story.
I don't think we can see too many more before we start talking about the gin smoke transitions.
Huge shout out to Clifton for wrangling all that gin smoke.
It was it was this idea of how we wanted to find our own creative way of showing these moments and showing that like this isn't just like a giant cutscene, like the characters are in this moment. So it turned into y'all had this like library of some smoke effects and y'all made your own, and it was just which ones do we need to do of kind of like wiping them on and doing these crazy transitions. Y'all really knocked out of the park.
I think just the hours that went into the research alone
Yeah.
was massive.
I know that was a big thing for especially the lighting effects comp team. Was just we talked about this episode more in meetings than any other episode, and that was true for animation. It was true for art especially.
For comp, this felt like 3 episodes.
It really There was at one point before we started trimming down stuff, wasn't it like 500 different effects or something like that?
That was after we trimmed it down.
That was after. Jesus. Okay. But then speaking of feeling like multiple episodes, it actually was at one point.
Yeah.
In an earlier draft of the season, this was actually chapter 3 and 4.
Right. We made the decision to combine it into one and do a lot of trimming
Yeah.
out of a fear of, as we mentioned earlier, like we were really afraid that people weren't going to enjoy this episode. It answers a lot of questions, but it also kind of brings our present day storyline to a halt in order to get all this backstory out there. And one of our bigger concerns too was learning from the past about how, when you binge a volume of Rwby, people tend to have like a better reaction to it as opposed to people that wait week to week sometimes. And when it comes to a story that like the Jaundice arc in the early volumes was a good example of like, we thought it was pretty cool. And then it wasn't until after it was all released where we realized, oh wow, this side story that we wanted to do, it took 4 weeks for it to play out when it came to the weekly release schedule.
Right.
And so it was a big fear of like, are people going to accept 2 weeks of not moving the present day storyline forward? And so, yeah, we made the call to make it one big fat episode.
I want to come back to that in a minute, but also while we're talking about this, or while we're on this scene real quick, so we ended up mocapping almost the whole episode in a day.
It was
Yeah, pretty
basically
much.
the whole
Yeah,
episode.
the whole weekend.
It was a weekend day. We could have done it in one, but I think we got tired.
Yeah.
But Joel, that's you as the God of Darkness. Melanie,
course.
were you Salem in this one?
Yeah, I was basically Salem for the entire episode.
Yeah. Yeah, we just basically came in on a weekend and we're like, we can just knock this out with like 3 people because, I think it probably wasn't as true as we would have liked, but I mean, of all of the departments, in a way, I think this was the simplest for animation. Just in complexity, it was a lot of these like tiny little vignettes of this moment, this moment, this point. It wasn't easy, but of all of the things, of all of the different departments, so we were like, we can knock this out, no problem. And it was a 24-minute episode in a weekend.
I think this was my favorite scene to mocap because we also had Jen Tidwell, the animation producer for Genlock. And at the beginning of this, whenever Oz shows up, Jen was playing Oz, I was playing Salem, and then at one point, she turned into the god of light, and so I was there just cradling a Rwby body pillow.
Yeah, in our mocap space, we have this like Rwby body pillow prototype that we never did anything with, and we just kind of use it as like our stand-in person body. But then Melanie, you ended up doing some of the animation for the transformation here, and then Penny, you did a lot of the effects that went into that as well.
Yeah, Austin and I.
Do you want to talk about that at all? And how I know the rig was like
The
this
rig
like
was so cool.
Yeah.
hybrid
did
person.
Great. Yeah.
What was it?
It was like it was his normal body at the beginning, and then there were like certain sliders, so he would get like super muscular. But I was really bummed out because his butt didn't change at all.
That's a mistake.
And then he could grow like a tail, and his wings would grow, and his horns. So, yeah.
Especially we had him like start the transformation, and then Penny and Austin like finished out the kind of like blend between the two.
We just like deformed all the
I don't know how you feel about it, but I was really happy with the God of Darkness effect. That like fiery effect, like I really like it.
Cool.
Every effect in this episode is incredible. Yeah. The water effects when she splashes through and is sinking, the fire, like it looks gorgeous.
All the implementation of 2D, I think was great and added a lot.
Well, we had a 2D effects artist who did some
Yeah.
amazing hand-drawn stuff for us,
Mike
which
Chapman.
was new, right?
Yeah.
Tears. Look at those tears.
It's an accidental dab.
Was it accidental?
Yeah, was it?
No, it looked more like a dab, and I actually toned it down.
I love that entire
water.
sequence that we just saw.
But going back real quick to the cutting it down, like it's definitely this chapter for me was a huge lesson in killing your babies, but also just like taking revisions after revisions, because I mean we had multiple versions of these 3 and 4 scripts, and then we combined it into one, and we trimmed that down a lot so that it would be it was we were talking to Cohen about it, the supervising producer, and we're like, well, how long can we make this episode? He's like, well, the longest episode we've ever made was 24 minutes, so I'd say 24 minutes. And we're like, okay. And we wrote out the script, and I think it was like 26 and a half pages, and we cut the first animatic of it, and it was 26 minutes, and then Connor and I just kept cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting, and I think it turned out better because of it.
Oh, me too. I think this is also the episode that probably benefited the most from the additional readers that we had on this season. Yeah. Issa, Connor, Eddie Rivas. This was one where we spent, I think, all things considered, this episode probably took a month to write. And
if you like total it all up, yeah.
When you get into draft 5, draft 6, you start to question your own sanity, and you're like, okay, what actually is important? And having these outside eyes helped so much to help us like stay focused on, okay, what is truly important and how can we do it efficiently.
It's another really long shot that everyone hated me for.
Oh,
yeah, there was like 3 different animators who worked on it.
I think it was 4.
4.
I think
yeah.
4,
We had separate files for like each character, and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
This is a nice hint too, as really seeing Salem starting to grow into the manipulator that she is when we see her in present day.
If I can just really quickly comment as like not being part of the writing process and seeing it kind of more as like a how it turned out. I love that this was a full episode and as long as it was, because this isn't just like some background. This is like a prism that changes how you view the story as a whole.
Oh, that's very sweet.
No, I think it works really well because you really change how you see it after.
I think that was a big thing for us. I think having it be this one big thing made it more of an event. Of this like bigger. It was definitely an event for us.
Yeah. Also, let's talk about the gods and how they're not the best parents.
They're not.
The gods were very heavily inspired by the gods from Greek mythology. These deities that have personalities that aren't always perfect and that they clash with one another and sometimes
just
don't
interesting.
view. Yeah, they just make some more interesting characters, and they fight with one another and. I always kind of like this idea of like there's a line. Oh, hold on. This is just like. Oh, the music here is so good.
This whole bit was Weston Jones, Aaron Wynn, and Penny doing these like crazy matte like combination things because we wanted to show more around the world. We wanted this to be like this is the entirety of the world. Yeah. So we needed more extras than our 3D ones had. So they had to draw them all, and then Penny these are like one of the few shots in the season that are basically don't have 3D elements in them.
It's my favorite section that I've worked on any Rwby scene. I love it so much.
It's really great. I'm super happy that turned out. I just want to give a shout out real quick to Weston Jones, who, so many people put stuff into Chapter 3, and he was a new environment concept artist that we hired this year. And he really owned a lot about that, and he really went out of his way to make this whole thing help make it feel cohesive, and I think he did a great job.
God of Darkness is such an asshole. Oh, sorry, I'm trying not to swear.
Try, it's fine. And that's how it happened.
I just love that the God of Darkness like kills everyone, and then the God's light is like, really? Okay, we gotta leave now.
This is, I think, my favorite shot in the entire episode.
Same.
I did this.
You did?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, I didn't do the cool fire, but
I still made it. I also like how God of Darkness just shoulder checks the moon on the way out.
Yeah.
So as a one last up yours.
She cursed everything but herself.
Woof. Oh, Salem. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for being so angry at everyone. I really don't.
Can I just say that in the last shot we had a deer?
Yeah.
And that's the second time I think we've seen like a normal animal.
Yeah.
It's something that like it's funny. Carrie and I were talking about this recently about how, we've always wanted to show off more of like the natural wildlife in Rwby, not just the grim stuff. But so much of our resources have to be spent on plot relevant things, so we never really get a huge chance to do it. But hey, if you guys read that Team Coffee book after the fall that just is coming out with Scholastic, there's some cool stuff in there. Just saying.
It's really cool.
It's actually a really good story. I love it.
This was that whole last bit. We had the boards for it. Rachel Dodo actually ended up doing like a good chunk of this episode. I can't remember if she did that section or not, but and then Pat Rodriguez, our director, had an idea for it, so he just kind of like redid some boards for that section that we should put out somewhere at some point because it definitely helped influence that whole section right there.
Can I tell you something I don't think you may be aware of one of the things that inspired that whole moment with Salem throwing herself into the pools of Grim? Huge inspiration for that moment Brutal Legend, the video game starring Jack Black.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
Okay,
like,
I couldn't remember
like,
if we'd talked about that.
I felt that was like a huge thing like back in the OG days. Yeah.
It was like heavy metal.
Yeah.
It's such a good game, y'all.
I love that game.
It's such a good game. Anyways, welcome to the Brutal Legends commentary track.
Hey, Brutal Legends 2. It could happen. Did it happen?
No,
No, it didn't.
It could. This is actually kind of a, and this isn't the first time you're seeing it, but this is kind of like a late game thing that we did. Was we ended up originally the gods were actually closer to human size in their human form, and we scaled them up just because we thought it helped with their godliness. But I think it's just another good example. It's something that we should always strive to be better at, but it's just like how easy it is or how willing everybody is to adapt on the fly when it's something that's worth it. Because there's some shots that had already been started that we had to go back in and scale them up and stuff. But I think it made it so much better because of that.
They spooky. Oz is like, this is a lot, sir. Yeah. The whole time he's thinking, does this guy have antlers?
This was definitely a tough scene all around, just because we wanted to make sure that it didn't drag on, because it is a little bit the most exposition-y scene we had.
Or at least the most expository scene that doesn't have like action going on that we can see. It's just two people talking. It's something we tried to avoid as best we could.
But we were able to do a lot of like the cool like vault-like effects. I don't know if you guys noticed.
I was just about to bring that up.
From Volume 5, which I helped just break it up a little bit more.
Oh, Oscar.
And I like that it only affects them, but it doesn't affect like Rwby or Oscar.
Yeah, they weren't there.
Alberto developed that effect. It's very cool.
It's a super cool effect. Another big inspiration for how we told this story was some stuff from like the Three-Eyed Raven from Game of Thrones, the Pensive from Harry Potter. We were just like, as you mentioned at the top of the episode, we were really adamant about making sure that we could convey the idea that our characters are here experiencing this in the moment with these characters. God's like, you sure, bro?
I think that really works, like, because they are like in the entire episode in like this weird space, but this is a different weird space, because now we're experiencing the God of Light's weird space, kind of, right? Like, I think it separates it nice.
Ooh, cute farmer boy.
That's just the trend of Oz. He will always be a cute farmer boy.
Basically.
Yeah.
I just want to, speaking of that, I want to give a shout out to Shannon McCormick and Aaron Dismuke for voicing like 6 characters of this episode. But we thought it'd be, pretty fitting to have them continue to voice these different versions of Ozma.
Thank you. Please, tell me your name.
Not now, Water Tribe John Risinger.
So that was actually one of the things that I think totally worked out fine, but one of the bigger changes we did to save time was originally there was a lot more dialogue from the other, the main characters, like the heroes. But it just kind of, interrupted the flow a little bit too much. But we left that one in just because since he was so connected to this whole thing.
Yeah.
More matte paintings.
The second Humanity's second time around, we had a lot of fun. We didn't get super into the nitty gritty and like pseudoscience of like how all this works, but we kind of, it was some of the stuff that we trimmed too. We can essentially boil down, the second coming of humanity is what happens when evolution takes over and there's a really magical cocktail of primordial ooze left behind by the gods and magical humans and stuff.
Right.
And that's how you'll get some of the wild things that you see in Remnant today.
Isn't pseudoscience the best?
It really is. Pseudoscience and sci-fi jargon are two phenomenal things.
Salem, different hair, not as spooky, Mom.
Speaking of,
Still spooky though.
There was a very late game change that we made to Salem's model in this episode. Because originally, like, another reason that we were really worried about this episode is like, hey, are people going to be too weirded out by the fact that Ozma is essentially hooking up with the Antichrist? And we were like, I don't know if, like, on paper, I remember thinking, like, it'll probably be fine. It might be a little weird, but it'll be fine.
Well, on paper, she's also hot, so it's fine.
But then when we first saw play blasts of this episode and some of these moments and them having kids, particularly it was when I saw the portrait of them as a family, I got really worried that she actually looked too spooky. And so you and I talked about it and decided to make one minor change, which I think made a world of difference, which was to remove the veins and imply that those were something that started to grow in over time.
Yeah.
And I think that one change helps so much. She almost looks more like a porcelain China doll or something, as opposed to horrible evil.
Right.
It's subtle, but I think it made a really, really big difference. So thank you, art team.
Yeah. It's talking about assets too. It's like this whole episode, and the reason I was I think everybody was really worried about it is it does so many things that are antithetical to making a 3D show, which is it has a lot of one-off elements. From the environments to the characters, it's things that can't really be reused again, or didn't come from anywhere that they could have started from. So it just, it was definitely an endeavor.
Yeah, because like there's also like obviously a lot of like one-off 3D assets, but wasn't this like the episode that had the most matte paintings?
Oh, it absolutely.
Yeah.
It was pretty early in. We realized that there was no way that we'd actually be able to model every set, and it just wasn't worth it too, because there's so many that were just for a couple shots here and there. So we ended up actually this whole next sequence coming up as the camera like flies up the castle is just a giant sectioned matte painting.
It's done so well.
Yeah.
And at the head of that kingdom blossomed a family.
That's not how portraits work.
It's a tiny little Wizard of Oz reference.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice that.
Oh man, I just feel bad for these two.
Yeah.
You said we needed to
I honestly, we'll get into this more as the season goes on, but I'm honestly very satisfied with everybody's reaction to Oz and Salem and everybody. It's that there isn't this like clear cut, right, wrong. It is this kind of gray area, and everybody has different feelings of who they think is right or wrong, or is being overly judged or not judged enough, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah. I mean, life is incredibly complicated, and relationships are extraordinarily complicated, and ultimately that's kind of what a lot of this stems from, was a very complicated relationship with poor communication and magic.
Joel, I thought it was a really bold choice when you said that you wanted to mocap all of the children. But, I'm just so glad we did it.
This scene just reminded me too, we had to make a decision on how we balanced out actual dialogue between the characters in this episode and voiceover dialogue, an exposition given to us by Jin, supported by visuals. And that was where a lot of the cuts came in, was we would have, like, I think originally this scene was fully written out. We got to hear the entire conversation, but then it was just like, it was just eating up pages, and we realized, Jin can do a really good job of summarizing what happens here, and
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, and also I think that led to, Joel is a lot of the animation team having to do even more without dialogue. We needed to hear Jin saying what was going on, but then see the small subtle things that the characters are doing.
Exactly.
Or like the way this little mini fight turned out. There's
Sweet.
another
almost
example.
like a callback to Rwby 3.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
This is another example of a ton of matte paintings and the awesome comp team kind of putting everything together.
God, the music gives me goosebumps here every single time. Alex Mack. I'm the only one that thinks that's funny. Don't you slow clap me.
I'm just gonna let you live in that shame. All right, Oz, what are you gonna say? No, doesn't matter.
Thus began a long and painful cycle of
Jin, like, figuring out how Jin spoke was something that was really interesting to us. We always wanted her to be an outside observer that very rarely would use. It was an interesting blend of her being this objective person that gives the facts and the events of how they played out, and someone who also considers herself to be a storyteller. And it was a really weird line that we had to walk.
Because we didn't want her to seem like a computer AI. Of just
Exactly.
Like, this is what happened now.
Yeah. She clearly takes great pride in educating people, but she wants it to be a very exciting experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's a storyteller within our story, and I love her.
I just wanted to say I really like the the small hints that you guys put in. Like, I didn't realize that the children had silver eyes whenever we were animating them. So I thought that was really cool.
There's a lot to unpack in this episode, and it was definitely one I think we were hoping that people would, rewatch and like find more and more.
There was more info about maidens and Silver Eye stuff that didn't get covered, but that doesn't mean it won't get covered in the future.
You can't.
Ooh, and you've got to be disappointed about that.
Mustache man.
It's like of all the ones that he
Is
went
that
to
a
go
man
talk
joke?
about. All right. Much like the rest of the season, after chapter 3, everything gets easier. You got me, Carrie. You got Miles.
Hi, what's up?
You got Connor back,
Yes.
and we're joined by.
Jeb.
What do you do, Jeb?
What's your title? What do you do?
Jeb Aguilar Kendrick. I'm the script coordinator here. So,
Which is a lot of things.
This is a lot of things.
I'd say your main responsibility through Volume 6 was scheduling VO, taking notes, just keeping all of that organized, and you did a great job helping with casting, like all that.
Yeah, I was trying to do my part.
You coordinated the hell out of those scripts, Jeff.
Well, thank you.
Man.
Big punch.
I
true.
feel
Some
bad
child
for
abuse.
and am upset with almost everybody in this episode.
Yeah.
Everyone feels bad.
Yeah, man.
This is a bad feels episode.
This is a hard episode. Like, I think we were really... I mean, we felt bad with everybody dunking on Ozpin, whether or not you think it's deserved.
Right.
Because Oscar's body is the one that's having to take the brunt of it. And it's so unfair to Oscar, who takes it better than I think most people could.
Oh, Yang said a cuss.
Oh. But yeah, this is a big change up for the entire series at this point. Oz kind of locking himself away and no longer serving as a mentor, who at this point couldn't even potentially be trusted. And tensions are super high, but fortunately we have sweet old Lady Maria here to kind of break some things up.
Yeah, this is definitely, obviously, spoiler alert, don't watch the commentary first, but, we obviously knew that there was more to her than just being an old lady, and this was kind of our the audience's first look in her taking action and, like, actually kind of understanding what to do in this situation. Since she was the least connected to all of the events that they just saw.
Yeah, it's a great first look, right? She has to guide them through what's kind of the most emotional moment coming down out of that insane
revelation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the part where she stops being like a burden on them as well.
Well, she's still going to make Yang push her.
Yeah, well, yeah, take a look at this next shot.
Yeah, I mean, it would have taken a lot longer to get there if they were going at her walking pace.
But she's also luggage,
Oh, this is a great little beat. I really like this little scene.
It hurts. Everything hurts.
Here's this physical personification of all the things you're struggling with. Here you go. Take it.
You want this, right?
Yeah.
You're your own person.
Don't lie to him, Rwby.
Oof.
We're better than that.
Crow, my dude.
Sometimes drunks are pretty insightful.
Yeah. Hey.
I've had some insightful moments.
You take that filter off,
We were really excited is a strange word to use, but we were excited to finally begin exploring Crow's alcoholism other than your typical like anime drunk guy joke.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is obviously the emotional kickoff for a lot of the problems that he struggles with throughout the season.
Connor, this was one of your first like big scenes. This and the next one.
Yeah, this was really fun. I think just like because of everything that we see in the previous chapter 3, we have like a kind of a new appreciation for Salem as a character, and that kind of like informs this scene where you see her kind of in a familiar setting, but I feel like you see her with new eyes in a way.
Yeah, we definitely took that. That was even a thing that came up in writing too. I think there was a version where this scene actually took place before chapter 3. I think there was, but it really what it came down to was we wanted, this is the first time we're seeing her after the audience knows her story. Like this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And kind of what that changes.
Also just seeing the change in the dynamic between the villains now that Cinder is absent.
Right.
It becomes very apparent right out the gate that these kids, Emerald and Mercury, are in way over their heads.
Oh yeah.
It's like when your friend brings their little brother along, and then your friend goes to the bathroom, and you just left with their little brother, and you're like, shut up.
Yeah,
And then
this is-
the little brother draws a gun on you.
This stuff is some of the most fun stuff, just to watch, but also to record. Right, these Josh Greeley as Tyrion this was my first time working with him. Was recording this episode.
Oh,
It's
he's wonderful.
so great, so intense.
And he has so much fun too, and you can really tell.
There's a lot to work with when you're pulling selects for this. Some of the shots in this scene were used in our season trailer, so they were pulled like way ahead of the actual scene. And it was always kind of with the intent that, like, yeah, whenever we get to the scene, we might go back and play with those some more and mess with it. But they ended up, like, working so well.
Yeah, we didn't really need to.
Yeah.
Mom's mad.
Yeah, I love how just quiet this is for so long.
That was something that, yeah, we kept finding we just needed to keep, like, pulling back on the action and the animation for all this stuff. And it's really still, which is, I feel like, what makes it terrifying.
Yeah. The calm before the storm.
Yeah. And Hazel is utterly deferential.
He is too good for this band of villains.
He's trying, man.
Yeah, we really wanted to kind of continue to show Hazel being the most compassionate out of this group of people, for better or worse, when it comes to people outside of his obsession with Ozpin.
Yeah, and he really does kind of take on a little bit of a mentor type figure for Emerald and Mercury, especially Emerald, over the course of this volume. Like, even when they first get off of the airship here at the beginning, him and Emerald kind of exchange a glance, and you can kind of see him kind of indicating to her, like,
yeah,
we just have to do this.
It was
Get
also
off the airship. You know.
Also fun showing more of Salem's magic with these, like, shadow hands, and just, like, how powerful she continues to be in this room full of extremely powerful people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a great story beat for her, right? Right after humanizing her, then we're here and we get to see just exactly where she is. But yeah, get to see some more emotion in present Salem. That's really fun.
It was also another opportunity for us to show how Salem communicates with the people beneath her. She knows how to manipulate people, and she has a different way of motivating her different lieutenants. With Tyrion, she's aware that she doesn't have to do much, that Tyrion hangs on every one of her words, and so if she uses a particularly hurtful word, he's going to take it to heart. And she's also able to very easily identify Emerald's fear, and I think in this moment, in her own way, is trying to mentor Emerald and tell her, you need to be careful who it is you idolize.
It just kind of, coming up here leaves Emerald hanging on exactly, and I think that's part of it is she doesn't give Emerald everything she wants in this moment.
Yeah, here you can see she's kind of hoping to get some insight into her.
Yeah, she's able to drop a few words here that mean a lot to certain individuals, but when it comes to Emerald, she kind of draws up a blank and is still relying on her fear in order to control her.
The path to your desires is only found through me.
This set looks great this season.
So gorgeous.
I don't know what exactly the comp team did differently, or if some of that was a hardware thing, but it just looks every time we go here. I really liked it.
Those are my favorite shots.
Oh yeah, this is kind of the most explicit kind of callback. I think even musically, Alex did a little callback to the theme from Chapter 3 there. Yeah. And you see her kind of processing, like, okay, I failed. I have to once again go back to the well and kind of start over. You see that weighing on her.
Bud, you sure you want to open your mouth again?
Yeah, this turn is so good.
I can help it. And they're being led by Ozpin.
Oh, he said the O word.
So soon. He's the only man with a chance of getting through to Ozpin.
Oh, that first little glimpse of it.
Her power level's over 9,000. We just have this theme. I don't know what it is. Is that when we know we're not gonna probably come back to a set, we just destroy it. I think maybe it's cathartic for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I liked that. So of course, we return to this set after the scene in the post-credit scene, and you see when we see it, then you see that it's still destroyed.
Yeah.
Like nobody has come back and picked up the chairs or anything. It's like,
The broom grim hasn't done its job yet.
It will.
The sweeper. Can't wait for fan art of the sweeper.
shout out to our effects team for that.
Yeah.
And Jen, right? What you guys got out of Jen this season was so awesome. I mean, she's wonderful, of course, but like that dimension that she gives to Salem this season is the writing, but it's also the performance. Right?
It was a whole other moment, just like we recorded her in volume 1, and we're like, hey, this is something that's gonna be a thing, but for right now, you're just kind of the narrator, and having that moment at the end of volume 3 where we got her to be the character for the first time. Chapter 3 this year was another instance of we actually get to continue to play around with this character, and she seemed really excited by it.
Yeah.
What a nice looking place.
It's a delightful Airbnb. I'm sure they're gonna have a great time.
4 stars. Mm-hmm. Out of 100.
I like the gate sound that we just hear kind of like distantly at first, and it's very effectively creepy.
Thus begins our first foray into horror, which excited to talk about in the next few chapters.
Yeah, you guys do a great job laying the groundwork with this stuff. You talked about how slow some of the parts are in this episode, but it's like so deliberate and so satisfying.
It's the start of the spooky times.
Spooky times.
All right, so you still got... I guess we don't start too spooky. Still got me, Carrie.
I'm Miles.
Still got Miles. And then next to me...
Oh, I'm Philip. I'm a sound designer in the mixer.
Yep. And then next to him...
I'm Christine Stukart. I am the assistant lead lighting artist.
Yeah!
Air horn, air horn.
So this is a little spooky, I guess.
A little bit.
Technically.
Spooky bar.
We wanted it to, be cleared out, both to kind of imply that this is like an after hours thing, and also because fewer crowds is easier.
Bless.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this in some earlier episodes, but it's just, how we approach crowds and everything was definitely a new workflow this year. And
especially with the set, because it has 2 layers. So crowds on the top layer, we're casting shadows on the crowds on the bottom layer.
Oh, no.
Oh, geez. And
Speaking of people on the top.
Yep.
What's up, girl?
I don't recognize that boot.
Oh, but that umbrella.
Such a great reveal.
It's Neo. Thank you, Cinder. I appreciate it.
Just in case you forgot.
In case we forgot, yeah. So this fight, I think, turned out so great and did a great job of showing how Neo has begun to evolve her semblance, and how formidable she still is as a fighter. And the use of the environment, I thought, was wonderful.
This fight got me hyped for like the whole rest of the season. The choreography that's going on in here is just like the way that it combines the superhero and the martial arts stuff together. That's something I love so much.
This is my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the top of our fight.
I just love the umbrella.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How much of a pain in the ass was that? That wasn't too bad, right? Because having the transparency. We don't normally have transparency in the characters that much.
Yeah, that was a real interesting thing because the mats didn't quite work because the mats are always fully opaque.
Right.
So that was a fun thing for comp to deal with, but it was nice to... There's at least one shot where she has, like, the lacy shadows from the umbrella on her face.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It turned out great. I know it's extra effort, but it's
fun to
really
do
good.
that, though, the little touches.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, and now we get into the misty outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's a crazy fun fact.
Oh, yeah.
So Neo wasn't originally planned to be in this volume.
Yeah.
This was a decision that we kind of made early on in writing this volume, when we kind of took inventory of things that we wanted to do, things that we thought we did well in Volume 5, and things that we thought we could do better in Volume 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just something, adding her in... Originally, if Neo was going to come back, it wasn't going to be for quite some time, but we felt as though it would really make Cinder's storyline a lot more interesting, and also be able to set us up for some really cool stuff when Cinder gets to Atlas. We thought it would be really cool if she could have someone from the past that she could team up with that was also sort of has Rwby on their bad list, and that's when we realized, oh, Neo's the perfect character.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those, whenever we do, brainstorming sessions, we'll throw out these like really out there ones, and that was just one of the ones that happened to stick.
Yeah.
Just like, let's try this, and at first it's like, no way.
Yeah, we should. It's like, no, that wasn't originally in it. I don't know about that. But then the more we thought about it, it was like, it would be so fun though to see those two working together. And I'm really glad that we did it.
It felt very natural in terms of the story. It worked well.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun to see her too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody was excited to see her come back.
Yeah, well, especially too, how we were like, the amount of time I was very excited that one of our fights on our boards was Cinder versus Neo. It was just like people are yeah.
Our head compositor for RTX dyed her hair in Neo style, and then I sent her a screen cap of Neo as like an injectable asset, and she was like, no!
And thus begins the story of Brunswick Farms.
Which this whole arc is another one of those like pre-volume 1, like just had in our back pocket for a very long time, and just never really found like the best spot to use it until now.
Yeah, so when we split the girls up and we began our transition into a journey anime, we got really excited, and I think we talked about it in the past DVD commentary of like how my favorite Grimm, we wanted it to be in this travel season, but we just couldn't do it. And I'm so glad that we failed to get the apathy in the earlier volumes, because it fits so perfectly into where our characters are mentally and emotionally in volume 6.
Yeah.
The fact that our characters are coming off of a natural low point really helped to sort of camouflage what would normally be described as uncharacteristic apathy that they're exhibiting throughout the course of these 2 chapters. So it was like the perfect gotcha. And this was I had so much like fun, like getting to do horror stuff. Like I think me, Connor, were just kind of like, let's flex some muscles that we don't get to use very frequently.
It was so much fun, like from a sound perspective, 5 and 6, like when we got to the farm, the way that we don't use as much music whenever the mood's like this, and then just making the backgrounds a little bit more uncomfortable with all the creaks and things.
Yeah, the constant creaks and the just like the way the footsteps echo, and like like there's so little going on that you actually hear like every step really clearly, and just like adds to this. I also, visually too, again, trying to learn from past things is like, definitely knew everybody was gonna be like, oh, okay, they're in another house. Like, how many episodes are they gonna be in this for? But I think one of the things that we try to do, and I think the team did a really great job with, every room feels a little bit different. You see these rooms in different, the beginning of this, when they came in here, you see them transition from outside to inside. They come into this room where everything is now lit by the fire, which looks amazing. Like, we I don't know if you would talk about how we normally like the beauty lighting versus like some of the more like dynamic kind of stuff.
We have beauty lighting that's mostly from camera to give them the best shape possible, but in this scene we wanted it to feel like the fire was lighting them, so even if they weren't really facing the camera, they were being lit by the fire, not the camera.
And then combination of then the lighting team and the comm team doing different shadows and just trying to like, it's just every room had its own kind of
feel,
tone to it and feel. And even this is the same room that in the next episode we're gonna see in the morning now instead. So I think the whole team wanted to. It's great when we can reuse assets and tones and stuff, but it's also great when we can change things up.
The inclusion of the apathy this season, I think, stemmed from us looking back at things that we wanted to improve upon. And we recognized that at this point in the volume, it really made sense for our characters to be going through a low point, and we wanted to give them some space to start talking about some issues they were struggling with internally, really get some time for Blake and Yang to start to touch on how, their partnership is being rebuilt, essentially. And by introducing a mystery before all of that, it helps these what are generally walkie-talkie scenes by introducing a layer of tension that is just always there. And so by just showing, like asking a little bit of a question of what happened to the people here at the top of this episode, it keeps all these smaller character moments more on the action spectrum than what would normally be there, because you're just constantly wondering, is something going to happen at any point in time?
Right. So you focus on the now and what they're talking about, but you've got this thing in the back of your head constantly going like, this is a really dumb, small, like probably more just on me thing, but I like coming into this scene was one of my favorite things in the mix. It's just I love doing the like, you know, outside really high, everything's crazy, down to the boom, down to nothing.
Yeah, and the shed itself has like some weird reflections, like reverb thing going on. And I started playing with what I call emotional reverb.
You did, yeah.
In here, like the worse that their relationship is going, like the more reverb I'm using on them.
Oh wow.
Which it only takes a turn later in the scene. But, yeah.
We also had our first two little clues: Yang saying that she's tired, and Blake mentioning a well.
Yeah, there's so much, you know, working with every artist about, hey y'all, this is gonna be a 2 viewing episode. You know, the whole, you know, I think Muzzy said it earlier. It's like the whole first time people are gonna be watching this, it's gonna be, I understand why this is happening, and then on the rewatch, we want people to be able to see, oh no, that is why this was happening. At the end of the scene, we'll do it tomorrow. It's like this is gonna be a thing.
He never really liked people telling him what to do.
Yeah, I just love how the 2 episodes together worked out. It gives them that rewatchability.
Oh yeah.
It was also really nice to get our first really important talk between Yang and Blake that we've seen on screen, and really starting to get to the root of one of Yang's issues that she's seeing that Blake is unfortunately completely missing right now. I think Blake, the thing that I love about Blake that's also really makes me really sad is that I feel like she's always trying to do what she thinks is best, but she doesn't quite understand some of the nuances of like human relationships and emotion, and so she makes a critical misstep in an attempt to do something really good.
She was trying there. She was trying real hard.
She was trying hard here. She was trying hard when she left everybody because she thought it would be better for everyone. She tries so hard all the time.
This part was fun.
Yeah, it was fun for lighting too because we got to hand key a lot of those lights for the flashlights.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's always this like weird balance where, you know, everything we do, we want to be as efficient as possible, obviously. And there's definitely a lot of times where I'm like, hey, like I know this would be hard, but wouldn't it be awesome to have like the cell phone light like on the wall, and you know, at first I'm worried it's gonna be like, dang it, that's more work. But you know, talking to you and then talking to Mav, it's like,
no, we get to light things.
Yeah, let's do it. Like, you know, we get to do something very custom. Like, yes, like absolutely.
I think the hardest part is just timing it because we ended up having to put a locator in that we animated so we could see where it was going to be.
Right.
But if you don't do that, you have to render it every time
and,
to see if the timing is right and the motion is right.
Wow.
You know, we do everything to make it efficient, and you know, the art style I think lends to that. But you know, the redshift renders are still like several minutes a frame.
Depending on the pass, but we can get up to like 20 minutes a frame for the environments, which isn't that bad, but it's still a lot.
Well, and to in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot, but to test, you know, this lighting thing,
to maybe throw it away.
Right. This is another kind of, you know, difficult thing about this whole, you know, episode in the different rooms is, you know, the way you guys kind of work with comp is you have these templates too, and you know, as an example, in like this room, behind them is this warmly lit area, and in front of them is this cool lit area, and I'm sure it's also a pain in the ass for lighting. I just remember talking to Comp about it of just like, well, they've got 2 templates in this room technically.
Yeah, we do as much as we can with the color of the lights.
Yeah.
But we also try and keep them neutral so that it can be reused for other templates later. But we try and push it warm in one room and cool in the other.
Yeah.
Now I want beans.
Shrimp beans?
It's a little inside joke, little reference, but it was nice to have like a little nice moment before things got spoopy. The spooping in. It begins.
Who are we?
All right, you got Carrie, you got
Connor,
you got
Joel,
you got
Miles.
Hey.
And boy, this is one of my favorite episodes that we've ever made ever. Because it's so spoopy.
It's 5 and 6 I think are interesting because they're, you know, we have this very long running narrative obviously, and it's so rare that in a 2 episode span, you know, questions are asked and then answered and then just move on. You know, like it they're not bottle episodes, but it almost just felt like these like nice little.
It was definitely a mini arc. Yeah. And I always loved shows that would specifically depart into horror for a brief period of time. Like some of my favorite episodes from like the Teen Titans, where the episode where Raven is dealing with her fears, like one of my favorite episodes of that entire series. And it's also exciting getting to see my favorite Grimm. It's done been teased forever. Number 3, Giant Evermore. Number 2, Knuckleavy. Number 1, it's the Apathy. This is a story that we had back before Volume 1. I did a little write-up on it on roosterteeth.com if anybody's ever interested. But the Apathy was an idea that kind of started with this back when we were coming up with Grimm Designs.
Yeah.
Saw this picture of a horrifying scarecrow, and I really, really loved it.
It was like drippy.
It was this gross, drippy, like humanoid skeletal scarecrow thing. It was awful. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen online. But we were going through this idea of like, what if there were Grimm that were more than just like physically formidable? And that was the idea of the Apathy. They were heavily inspired by that planet from Serenity, where everybody got just like put to sleep and died, and super heavily inspired by one of my favorite short stories, which is Bartleby the Scrivener, hence the name Bartleby that we drop in this episode, in this scene, I think.
Who's that by?
I cannot remember the name of the author right now.
Herman Melville?
I think so. Yes.
We named one of the other farms.
That's right.
I think
that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a story about depression in the American workforce as people were moving into more office jobs, and it was just a story that really stuck with me for a long time. And there's this phrase that we keep coming back to in that story of Bartleby, this guy that one day when asked to do his job just says, "I would prefer not to," and then he applies that saying to every aspect of his life, eventually withering up and dying of starvation because he would just prefer not to eat. And that idea just scared the hell out of me. I think apathy is one of the scariest things you can deal with. And I think, Joel, you and your team did such an amazing job of portraying that in the characters' performances. What are some of the things that you guys tried to do to really show that off?
I mean, one of the main things that we were trying to do is just like take what we had and put as much asymmetry into it as possible, like make each we had I think like 3 different variants to work from, but we also tried to make sure that each one of those had something very distinct about it. Like one of its arms would have been more droopier than the others, or maybe one of its jaws was like a little more skewed or something like that. We also did like some mocap for that as well. Me and Paula definitely got our spoopy on. We were just like contorting our bodies like as much as we could. Like I would like be sticking my foot in a bucket to like drag it across the floor. It's probably the most painful mocap thing I've ever done. But yeah, no, I mean,
turned out great though.
Yeah, no, it did. Yeah.
But I think Miles, you were kind of talking about like the performance of our main characters, like as they're affected by that too. And I feel like you look at their body language in this scene, and it's like really clear that there's something just kind of like dragging on them.
Body language, the dilated pupils.
Why the number of times Joel, you and I gave notes, or all of us have just like, no, slower.
Yeah.
More time on this shot.
Yeah.
It's pretty common for us to add, frames of the head of tails and shots just to, help with the transitions between. But just the number of times we asked animators, like, no, let's just add a whole second at the end of the shot just to linger on this expression.
I love that crow just goes and plops down
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. This is like probably one of my favorite scenes of the volume. Just this bit before they go down to the well. It's like, it's very well done.
I was really happy, and this is definitely a very collaborative scene. I also remember too, like coming up in a minute when Rwby actually starts to walk over towards the well, and like Joel, you'd done a re-edit where you'd like. I always know that adding a shot is going to be all right when the animation director's like, we should add a shot. I'm like, yes, cool, great. But we just, it was all about like, this whole episode was just about dragging out to for lack of a better term this intro section, so that once things hit the fan, it really hit.
I think this is probably the turning point for a lot of viewers when people really start to suspect that there's something worse going on here. I think Chapter 5 did a good job of writing that line of believable levels of apathy, but I think this was definitely the moment where a lot of people were starting to think there's something else. There's something very, very wrong with all of our characters.
Oh, yeah. Yang's just straight up talking about throwing the relic away right now.
And you know, like, a big part of that is, like, she's not 100% wrong.
Yeah, no,
like,
a lot of her suggestions came from discussions that you and I had, Carrie, when it came time to, like, okay, it's time for our characters to be making logical decisions. Why don't they just do this, or why don't they just do that?
And like, everything Yang says is right, but at the end, like, that's not what's gonna help everyone.
Yeah.
I love the music during this section.
Yeah. And also using this to highlight Ruby's strength as our lead protagonist is she's got that willpower, yo.
Got that anime hero power.
Hi.
I'm Archibald.
Archibald the apathy. Oh, it's so unsettling. So yeah, we kind of had this idea of the way that the apathy work is through proximity, and then if they can see you and they hit you with that thrall, you get really hit, even worse with a sudden desire to just give up. And Carrie, I really love what you and the sound team ended up doing. I remember when describing the idea for the apathy, you were kind of like, oh yeah, they're like the Redeads. And I was like, oh yeah, they are kind of like the Redeads from Legend of Zelda. And you guys incorporated this like amazing cool screech thing that I hadn't thought of, that was just like, oh, it made my skin crawl every time they did it.
No, they knocked out the park with this one. There was a lot of sound things. We'll get to it in, a little bit, but the Silver Ice moment was a huge sound endeavor. Amongst every other thing too.
Everything endeavor.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was this idea that you can kind of get jolted out of the apathy.
Right.
Like if something were
once
to
that
startle
adrenaline
you,
pumps through.
Yeah, that adrenaline, it brings you back a little bit. But if you continue to just be surrounded by these things and they're continuing to actively attack you with their thrall, it's not going to be enough. But in that moment where we're still just getting affected by like a perimeter effect, Rwby is sort of snapped out of it and is much closer to her norm than the other girls who have yet to see anything that startled them.
So we're able to use the animation, like the status of their eyes to determine like whether they were in or not.
I do like that when Rwby is initially shocked out of it, whenever she sees the eyes in the well, the other girls aren't really. They're still pretty much under the thrall, and they agree to go down there, but not just out of sort of a favor to Rwby more than anything.
This was a really fun cut back and forth too, as we're just drip feeding the audience the information that our characters don't yet realize.
Yeah, I love building suspense like this. It just, we know something's coming, but what?
Oh, and the art team that did this scribble, I love them.
I think Aaron ended up doing that.
Oh, so we had a really interesting story about how the Manticore came to be concepted and made.
That same artist.
Same artist.
Did the apathy, yeah. And she did an amazing job. I didn't mean to make her nervous in doing it, but when we did the kickoff call, I let her know, like, hey, I don't know if you've ever heard, because, she's a fan. I was like, I don't know if you've ever heard Miles talk about having a favorite Grimm, and we haven't seen it yet. This is it. And apparently, like, later she told me she was, like, just sweating from that moment on, just, like, wanting to do a good job. But she did an amazing job with these.
Loved how they turned out.
Yeah. Because, and I remember when talking through this with animation a lot, I was like, this is the closest we'll ever get to something like kind of akin to zombies. But how do we do our version of that? How do we do this like grimmified version?
Yeah, at this point I feel like it's very easy for a zombie story to feel very played out, and they don't feel as interesting of an enemy anymore. But it was still really important to me that these things move and creep so slowly, because that's how apathy gets you. Before you even realize it, it's just kind of upon you. And that was, this chapter was very close to my heart because it was one of the earliest ideas that we had for the show and was something I was really excited about. But also, coincidentally, at the time that this chapter premiered, I was having to deal with some really some like motivational and apathetic things going on in my life, just from like a number of like personal things. And it was weird because this chapter kind of ended up being like a letter to present day me from past me of like motivation, and it was really weird. And since then, everything's cool. I've started talking to a therapist. Hey guys, therapy's great, and I can't recommend it enough. But it was just something. It's just another reason why this episode is really special to me on an emotional level.
When you were talking about that stuff, because you made a couple tweets about it, like Rise is coming out, I was like, is Miles okay, or is he doing like the best viral marketing I've ever seen?
Oh, this was also a really fun, like, tiny mechanic that we got to have fun with, is this idea of Maria effectively being colorblind.
Right.
And getting to see this moment of realization for her. And this is also just like one of my favorite. There's so many shots in this episode that I love, but this one just still gives me the heebie-jeebies.
This was shooting in this room in particular. We really had to lean into the idea that they're super slow, because there's like chunks of like 30 seconds where you have to see them walking towards you in the background, but kind of like, you know.
It was very elongated.
You guys did a great job, though, of giving the sense of claustrophobia. Like, you really just feel like you're rats in a dead end. Oh, Carrie, do you want to talk about your headcanon for how the apathy gets you? Or is it too spooky?
I don't know.
Maybe we just leave it. Maybe it's better unsaid.
Yeah.
But Carrie, after we worked on this a bit, he was like, so I think I have an idea for just how they get you. And you told it to me. I was like, that's like the darkest thing you've ever said,
I'll
Carrie
say
Shawcross.
there's clues in the huntsman's pose out in the tunnel.
Connor, you directed the scene. I thought, you, Joel, everybody like did a great job, just like having them be. This is like a different tired. You know, this is a different.
Yeah. It's exasperation.
It's
exhaustion.
It comes across really well.
Yeah, it really feels like everybody here has nothing left to give, no matter how hard they may want to.
It you know, it's always a hard thing to do when you're, you know, in the middle of a season and stuff like this. But it's like, if things had not gone just right for them, they would have not made it out of this room.
Yeah.
I think that that really comes across.
Trying to sell the stakes of that. I remember talking to Scott, who works with our animation production team, and I had a great time working on this episode, but talking to him afterwards, he was like, this was so hard for me. Like, it was so depressing working on this for like a month.
That shot always makes me sad.
And here's the big moment.
Bazinga.
Oh, cool. Thanks for ruining it.
I love the way this turned out with all the silhouettes. And,
you guys
did a
did
great
such
job.
an amazing job. Oh, it's the
Maria's
Pikachu meme.
Oh, I love this shot.
Yeah.
The effects look great.
Yang is like, cool, let's leave now.
We had this problem where we had to there was sort of a continuity thing where she ran out ahead of everybody else, and then suddenly everybody was right there, even though they were way behind. So we had to try to engineer a solution where we kind of do the POV shot to give some time there.
Creative solutions lead to a better end product.
Yeah.
This was such a great moment of catharsis too for like Weiss, and I just all this whole, even though we're out of the cellar, there was still so much going on emotionally for a number of characters. There's the panic here and trying to escape. Oscar being like, yo, what?
Yeah.
And then the catharsis for Weiss, being able to burn down this place that she has repeatedly said she hates. But I just love this idea, this visual of, as Crow getting dragged away, all he sees is these burning things just walking towards him, uncaring, ever pursuing. Like, ugh. I think, you know, a lot of people assume this would be a moment that kind of snaps him out of his behavior that he started expressing a few chapters ago, but I think the intention here was it changes the reasoning behind his depression and alcoholism. It goes from feeling as though there's nothing he can do to now he's depressed over the fact that like he should have been doing something and he almost got everybody killed, and is now really starting to hate himself and not just hate the position that he's found himself in.
Yeah.
This is our Shining ripoff.
Exactly.
Was it a Kubrick film?
I feel like I like this scene because everybody's so subdued. You know, it's not really like it's not a happy scene. Even they're out of the danger, but everyone is pretty much just kind of like consumed by the horrible things that they've seen. Yeah, it's very quiet. Another donut set.
Another donut set.
And coming up in a second is one of my favorite musical cues that was scored for this season, which was Jeff did it, and it's a sort of a redux of the song that he used in the fight in Chapter 1, but it's really pretty and done on piano with, I think, some string accompaniment. And we ended up using on the Blu-ray background too. So if you're watching this on Blu-ray,
Boy, you're gonna go fool if we change it. This isn't necessarily the right time to talk about this, but one thing I did want to bring up is the eye animation for Maria this season. Was just it was really fun, and it was but in this moment I think it really that was a big thing for us when designing her character and like working with animation, and everybody was like making sure that we could have more sincere moments with her with this giant eye apparatus.
Oh, Bartleby, you done screwed the pooch on that one, didn't you?
You tried. You tried. We all try.
It was also really nice to be able to continue to reinforce just how hard life is in Remnant if you're not a huntsman or a huntress or prepared to deal with the brutality of what waits for you out in the dark woods.
Mm-hmm.
I should have known. The signs were all there, but I'd never seen an entire.
Why did we stop?
There was a lot actually on the script level where it was like, okay, so Yang needs to take part in this conversation, but she's driving a loud motorcycle.
How do you know so much about the Grimm?
I'm just smart.
I ate my vegetables and paid attention in school. Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it obvious, girl?
What?
I had silver eyes.
Oh. Wow. Welcome.
We're back with Chapter 7.
Chapter 7. Who's here?
You've got Carrie. You've got
Melanie.
You've got
Brian.
And
Miles.
All right. Now that that's out of the way.
This looks familiar.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun.
The Bat Cave. Oh wait, no, this is the Vault of the Spring Man. My bad.
It's,
My
I
bad.
mean, it's
different
the same
property.
thing. Alfred's related. We just haven't gotten into it yet.
We had a conversation of like, how do they get back into that vault? Did they climb through like the tiny little like doo-doo sewage?
Yeah, they went through the doo-doo sewage, and then they
No.
back up.
Cinder used like a fireball and held Neo because she's so tiny.
Yeah.
And then just
There you go.
blasted
Blasted
off.
him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look, they have their ways. Also, shut up. Nah, they made it back in. They climbed. That's how they bonded so much.
Yeah.
It was. They had to climb a mountain together.
Neil was like a koala, just hugging onto his back.
Hey, welcome to the post lunch break recording session.
Yeah. Carrie had a Red Bull session.
Oh man, she's just holding that cheese.
It looks like bacon to me sometimes. It's funny. I guess this is kind of for Brian, but like, as often as possible, and that either it helps the narrative or is neutral to the narrative. I guess is like we try and reuse assets, but it's definitely not like no work is required.
Right.
It's like we reused the set, but we had to get it out from the archives, and we changed a little bit of how we light things, so we basically had to relight it.
Yeah.
We had to clean it up to make it like fit better into our pipe. Like it wasn't this like
Yeah.
oh it's done thing.
How we do Plant Life 2 is completely different disc volume than previous volumes, so we had to redo all the Plant Life of that set.
I mean, and it turned out great, but it's just it's funny how that works. This is probably one of my favorite things of the whole season, just because it's so
My
on its own.
Favorite fight.
Heck yeah. So sometimes limitations are infuriating, and it's like, oh, I wish we could just get some more runtime, or oh, I wish we just had more episodes of something. Sometimes limitations lead to some really cool stuff, and I think that was 100% the case with this entire fight scene. When we were breaking down the volume structure, we realized that it had been a while since we'd had an action piece, like a fight. And although coming out of the Apathy arc, there was definitely tension and action, there was no classic, like, Rwby level fight stuff.
I would say, too, I mean, it was also, had been, it had been since Chapter 5, but we also knew it was going to be a while before.
So we had a talk, and we're like, it would be really great if we could get a fight in here. But man, like, fights are hard, they're expensive, they take time. It would have to be a short fight. And so when it came time to do this and do Maria's backstory, like I sat down and I was like, all right, so how do you make a short fight really cool? And that led to the idea of, okay, well, what if a part of like the action was this fight has to be over in 60 seconds, and that's what led to the birth of Talk.
And you can go and check. It is 60 seconds long.
It is exactly 60 seconds long.
Yeah, I think I can't remember what we ended up doing. I think we incorporated, but it is actually, I think, technically slightly longer because there's a couple of slow-mo beats in there.
Nice.
So like we compensated for that.
Yeah.
Maria's weapons, it was really fun because we knew we were only going to really get to see her in action once, and so it was like, let's go ham and come up with something really creative and dynamic. And
yeah, that was definitely a comment. Like, I remember I'd come up with the idea for the scythe part of it a while ago, but then you had the idea of how she uses her dust.
Yeah, it was definitely some inspiration from playing the reboot of God of War and just how satisfying the axe is in that game.
Yeah.
But this idea of, okay, well, what if you were to take that and then combine it with a little bit of Marvel's Thor and take into consideration, like, Rwby uses her heavy scythe to kind of throw herself around. Maria's also kind of light. She can use her scythe to kind of pull herself around, or if she's fixed to something, pull that something closer to her other scythe. And it really it made for a super fun, like, all over the place fight. Her fighting style was described as Blake and Pyrrha combined. And then, oh my god, the animators, like, sometimes when you write something, like, it very rarely does it come out exactly like you had it in your head, like, because everybody contributes to it, and ultimately it's going to show up as something better. And this is one of those cases where I was like, not only was this was close to what I had in my head, but then it gets, like, way better than what I had in my head.
Yeah, so shout out to animators. It was Joe and Megan for the Nevermore part, and then it was me, Matt, and John for this part.
Kevin Harger did the storyboards.
Yeah, so I did this part right here, and I know Matt did this also, but we actually were animating to the KDA song.
Yeah.
And it worked out really well because the glowing effects for her weapon, I feel like, kind of
There's
matched
some
that.
inspiration there too.
Yeah, so that was a whole lot of fun. So,
It came out just like a couple weeks before we started animating this fight.
Yeah.
Man, I know Gio said it earlier about Salem, but young Maria is my bae. Like, I'm really happy with how she turned out, and it's fun to be able to do stuff like this. We talk about having some limited run times, but it's fun when we do make time for these, and we get something else out of it. We find out more about, it's not just about Maria, it's about Salem and the Silver Eyes. It's about, this person who was, maybe she was another part of Salem's crew before at one point. We get some other world information, but we also just get Maria and coolness.
Yeah, I also want to say that Maria's rig was probably the most polished rig.
Assets definitely spent a lot of time working with animation on young Maria's design, even in the early concept phase of Maria as well. Because, Carrie, Maria was actually playing for Volume 5 initially, right?
Oh, that's right.
I'd see why we wouldn't talk about this. So.
I wanted to talk about it. That's the scary thing about doing commentary is, like, you think about what you're going to say on the DVD commentary forever, and then the day of recording, if you forget, you forget.
Yeah, we talked about it in the Volume 5 commentary, but yeah, Maria was the thing that we had to just take out of Volume 5 that we really wanted to have in.
It was a huge... We were really bummed because at that point we were very aware that we hadn't really touched on some Silver Eye stuff, and we really wanted to. But as we were already struggling to try and continue to balance the different storylines of the four girls and reuniting them, and then introducing all the Spring Maiden stuff, and it ultimately just turned into a situation where we were like, we're trying to push this too far and trying to put too much into it.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where we knew that was going to be, a tarnish on Volume 5, but we knew that we could do a better job within Volume 6, and we wanted to just kind of stick with it. It's just, man, like, because
Crow was going to find her in his search for Huntsman.
Yeah. Initially, Maria was supposed to have a cat as well that we were going to name. I forgot what it was, but we did concepts of it too, and it was a really big deal because that was the first time we were going to do, like, animal life that wasn't birds.
Yeah.
Really.
No, it was definitely... It worked out in the end, but it was
for sure.
it was definitely a bummer. But there's a lot about this season that she also just fit in tonally. So I'm happy with it in the end.
Right, for sure. It allowed us to put the much needed love and care into designing her character.
Yeah, we definitely worked on her weapons especially a lot.
For sure.
Vomit boy.
It's a very nice touch.
Man, it would have been so nice to not have to have you in the booth until this point, Mos.
Oh man, this is probably these next couple scenes are probably my favorite in the entire volume.
Yeah, our team went ham on Argus, and it shows in a great way.
It's
Super
so
pretty.
I was so delighted to see how much life Argus had, and think about how far we've come since Volume 1, where it's like the fact that we're able to just show, like, here's some construction people, here's some folks walking around, like, that is a luxury that we just did not have a few years ago.
Man, Connor fought for those construction workers.
I love them. It really makes the place feel real.
My favorite is the guy that's following the trolley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just cool, like background characters just being able to watch them, and they look like they're actually living in the city and alive.
My favorite part about that hill shot is them being like, "We made it. Now we have to very slowly traverse the steep hill."
Yeah, I saw a lot of fan comics.
Look, hey, you can't. God made that, not us. You know? That's how steep it was. I know what you want from me.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we had to cut from chapter 3. There was this whole scene where the God of Light was like, "I think it should be steeper."
Was it the God of Darkness or God of Light?
That was oddly enough God of Light.
Yeah, because
God of
he thought it'd be
Light,
real
yeah.
fun in the snow.
Oh, Ruby! I always forget how small Ruby is until you put her next to Jean.
Or maybe he's just freakishly tall.
That's true.
I think the only shorter character is Neo, correct? Or
Nora.
Nora and Neo.
Nora and
Yes.
Neo.
And I think Weiss is taller than Ruby with her heels.
Just barely, yeah.
One thing I wanted to say is I know there was like a lot of cartoony moments in past seasons, but I feel like we really pushed more of the cartoony
Hey, come
this year. Like whenever they show up in Nora,
Yeah.
or, like her whole jump and everything.
It really works too. There was something like the execution, because we've done it before to varying levels of effectiveness, and I think there was something about this season, the combination of the sound design and the timing and just how polished everything is looking. It
Right.
felt seamless and natural.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna-
give another.
Work together to create a hybrid city.
Um,
Still falls under Mistral domain. Atlas keeps a military.
give another shout out to Weston.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just did an amazing job with Argus. I mean, the whole team did, but he just like chapter 3, he like really stepped up.
Yeah. I think the really cool thing about Argus was that he was able to create like a city guide essentially for this entire city, which we've never really been able to do from my experience. And he was able to essentially draw the entire map of Argus. Just theoretically, it's like if we were in downtown, if we went a little bit to the left, we could end up in like the different type of districts. If we a little bit end up going to the right, we would end up in the suburbs. And as a result, that really allowed us to flesh out what this city, what the feeling of the city was going to be like if it was an actual place.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it, and here announces all the animators' favorite character, Adrian.
Yeah.
Yo, Adrian!
All the animators love him.
we went back and forth a lot because, you know, originally we thought about doing a little bit more of like an actual like baby. But then I just realized like that wouldn't be very cute. Like we wanted it to be like something that people would really get behind. All the rest of the family.
Going back to cartoony stuff, like it's not necessarily cartoony, but the teasing between Jean and Saf is just like it's so. As someone with a sibling, it was perfect. It's perfect. There's also. Do you want to do a little fun fact about the ARC siblings?
Oh yeah, they're all.
Go ahead.
I mean, I have we ever said that before?
I don't know.
Remember.
I don't think we have.
Yeah,
we've never talked about them
they're,
really.
You know, arc, rainbow. They're all, you know, a color of the rainbow.
Yeah, and then you have the two, and then you have one set of twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because saffron is an orange color. Oh hey, this is a little while back, but Brian, you want to talk about the great Easter egg we had on the trolley? It was the best Easter egg we've probably ever done ever, and it definitely was the best one ever.
We put the license plate as the date of premiere.
Oh
The
yeah.
episode,
The episode, yeah.
It was dumb.
It was really.
I just bring it up because it was
cute.
my idea and it was dumb. But I kept making a big deal about like, oh, they're gonna lose their minds.
I saw posts about it.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Oh, look at those sandwiches though.
We also put a little bit of foreshadowing into posters.
Yeah, we
in the
did.
That
movie
was
theater.
such a
Coming
good
soon.
touch.
Yeah.
Such a
Yeah.
good touch.
Snuck in that Genlock poster too.
Yeah, we did. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I love the Kata arcs.
Yeah.
Actually, the other like foreshadowing thing we did was the toy that Adrian's playing with.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
the ship they
The
steal.
Manta airship.
I didn't
They're-
notice that.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's like a dumbed down, like simplified, small version.
Yeah.
Of it.
He's the Leviathan.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You say that, but we actually had some
I heard about
animators scaled up Adrian to be Mech Leviathan size later in the season. We have some screenshots.
Oh
It's
my
really funny.
god, it's so funny. Adrian is probably one of the best characters of the season. Easily steals the show.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Right. Team Junior's been doing some stuff. It ain't going great. And now we're about to meet one of my other favorite characters. There's so many favorites this volume.
Yay.
Slam.
And Atlas. Just let them in. You got Carrie, me. You got
Miles, that's me.
We've got
Kate,
Kate. What do you do for the department?
I work in layout.
And Joe.
Hey, I'm Joe Clary. I'm the lead producer.
Yeah!
Woo!
It's great to be here, guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, we're happy to have you. But you know who's not happy to have our heroes? Atlas.
Specifically, Cordo.
Caroline Cordovan.
One of the things that I thought was interesting and something that we're going to need to, not correct, but to be clear about, is everyone's like, man, these Atlas guards are a lot goofier than I thought they were going to be. I can't believe Atlas is all like this. And it's like,
no.
Cordo and her group are like this.
Yeah, we really tried to. It's a throwaway line, but I stand by the idea that not a throwaway line, but it's meant as a jab that Cordo was intentionally stationed here because she's a bit of a nuisance to the rest of the people in Atlas, and this is a job that it was believed she could do well without bothering anybody else. Unfortunately, she bothers a lot of people this volume.
I don't think it really worked out for him.
This is the beginning of a plot point that Carrie wanted in this show that I will follow him to the ends of the earth because of it, and that plot point was old lady fight.
Old lady fight. Old fight.
There was one of the things that we wanted to try and improve upon in this volume was doing a better job of balancing out the new higher stakes plot points with the kind of goofy, sillier moments from the early volumes in the show that people, ourselves included, really enjoyed. And
wait, Miles, this is the best joke.
And that's a Carrie Shawcross original. This was so much fun. It was just like things for them to get upset about. Like you had Maybe She's Dead. I threw in the cashews thing, and it all culminates in this ridiculous rivalry between two absurd old women.
I love doing and this is from storyboards all the way to layout to final camera and everything, but like the guards, like the framing that we did for them, and then for Cordo, and like all those like small camera moves and everything. Like I don't know, it helped.
No, these were fun camera moves.
This whole
like gotten away from last season, I think, and so it was really cool to bring them back.
I like when we have these like slightly different camera languages for areas, that it just makes it feel like we're in a different world for a second.
I'm realizing the more we watch this volume that volume 6 really is the volume of old ideas that we finally got to use, because the old lady in the shoe was an old school like Montium original from like back before volume 1 of this idea of an old woman that lives in a boot, and then we reveal that the boot is just the foot of a giant mech.
It was actually, if you go back and probably listen to Volume 2 commentary, that was originally going to be the climax for Volume 2. And, just scale-wise and everything, we just said it was a little too soon to do, and we just didn't think we could do it justice at the time. And so now we're doing it.
Yeah.
Good idea never dies.
Exactly.
And shout out to Mela, who does just an amazing performance as Cordo. It was so much fun getting to play around in the booth with her, and she would go from 0 to 60 in milliseconds.
Same for her, and I can't believe we haven't mentioned this earlier, but yeah, Melissa for
oh my god, yes.
Grim Reaper. I just like
Maria.
Yeah. I remember too the first time we recorded with her, she was like, her words, super pregnant. and she was doing the like death screams from chapter 7, and it was just like, are you okay? Everything, is this okay for you to do? She's like, yeah, it's fine.
It's very cathartic to get it out.
Just scream your heart out.
But we had so many good, new characters that we were able to cast this season. Mm-hmm. It's always fun to bring in new voice talent and see what they bring to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And Weiss has her red scarf on. She looks great.
She looks really great.
As usual.
The scarf was never a point of continuity contention and never added extra time anywhere ever about forgetting when it was supposed to be on. Never ever.
I don't recall anything about the scarf.
There were no continuity issues with this entire episode.
Why would there be?
The whole episode was smooth.
Guys, it sounds like this was a really easy episode to work on.
It was.
So
Great. It was great.
easy. Just don't say scarf or lemon. Look, continuity is a C word.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Crow.
It's one of
This
the
is one of.
worst.
This is around the time when, like, because you and I really have a lot of fun writing for Crow.
Yeah.
But these were the days where it was painful to write for Crow.
Yeah, it's
Why?
He's just making all the wrong choices, which it's always hard. Like it felt that way with like Volume 4 Blake too, of just like, oh girl, you need to be making these mistakes right now for you to grow. But I'm so sad that you're doing this.
Yeah, we have to put you through this.
Yeah.
Because I also, we say this about Crow. We've always said this about Crow. There's a little bit of Crow in all of us.
Yeah.
And I think even during those times too. Honestly, we just kind of passed over, but that was my favorite fight of the volume, Jean versus the wall.
As an older sister, that scene really bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because did he patch that up?
Yeah, right? That's your sister's wall. You are a guest.
He put the family portrait over it. So this is for years of torment.
He made a new macaroni art.
Man, another scene where Oscar's just getting put through the ringer. It's not your fault, farm boy. Oh.
But Jean sure thinks it is.
Yeah.
I like seeing this side of Jean, though.
He's got a lot of pent-up aggression.
Yeah.
No, he needs to let it out. He needs to grow. Freak out.
He brings up a lot of good points. I don't trust Oscar, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I trust Oz, just not Oscar.
Yeah.
He's really shifty, and he can, like, get into cupboards and stuff.
He's so flexible. What? I imagine he's very flexible.
So, hey, weird flex, man.
That's what we said about Oscar, but here we are.
It was fun isn't the right word, but interesting seeing Honora that isn't also in the mood to be cheery right now, but is all equally fed up and annoyed. It was our heroes, Team Rwby, went through a similar reaction and then all came through it after surviving the incident with the apathy. But now it's like having to watch them go through all of this anguish and frustration again, and knowing like how that feels has got to be tough on all of them. We're able to understand a little more though. Butterflies.
Now, this is one of the parts of being a storyteller where, I know that everybody thinks that I've got a green thumb and that I know so many things about plant life. Do butterflies, can they be out in the winter?
Nope.
Well, hold on.
Do lemon trees grow in the winter?
This is the magical world of Remnant.
Exactly.
Where those, like, we had rapier wasps in Volume 1. These could be winter flies.
We had Shane was on earlier, Shane Davis, and like that was his go-to for like anytime like there was like a clipping thing that we didn't think we'd have a chance to fix. He'd just be like, "Hey, World of Remnant."
In the world of Remnant,
it totally works that way.
Anything can happen.
But we want to do something, nice with the butterflies to kind of be this, representation, but also the lemon tree goes way back to the lemon punch that Monty did at a panel that would be just like a fun little reference, and then turn into a giant continuity thing. But
no,
it's fine.
It's not fun if it's easy,
Exactly.
We gotta have a little challenge in there.
This was a
Kate says,
Kate's gonna hurt me.
Kate, who is the one of the lead layout artists who's in charge of making sure that all this continuity is great and who does amazing staging maps for every episode and everything, loves continuity. But you do though.
I do. I really do.
Yeah.
I like accountability and
Yeah.
things to fall in line.
And people to blame.
Me.
No.
Just kidding.
Me and Joe.
Just kidding.
Oddly enough, I felt like this ended up being one of the hardest scenes to write of the season, just because it was like another one of those situations where we were like, okay, we can't have any like underlying like
danger going on. There's no action or anything we'll be looking at. It was like we need these two characters to have a sit down, and we need to learn this girl some Silverad knowledge.
Yeah.
And so there was a big struggle of like, how do we make this more than just let's explain the rules of how your eyes work? And so it was fun being able to use this as an opportunity to learn a little bit more about Maria's backstory, that her father had silver eyes, so guys can get silver eyes too, and it turned into, I feel like, less of a lesson and more of kind of like a heart-to-heart between two people.
Yeah, which I think is just more real.
Yeah.
In general.
Well, and Maria's such a grandmotherly type figure. It's cool to see her and Rwby have that moment.
Yeah, especially now that,
Is she?
We're seeing
Sarah's like a wily hippie.
Exactly.
like Yvonne.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Best
she's
grandma.
kind of my hero.
Wily hippies give me grandmas.
Yeah, dog.
I hope to be so lucky.
I absolutely see you being a Maria grandma.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that so much.
And we talked about this with Salem earlier too, but this is 7 to a degree, but I mean, like, this is the first episode after this new context with her as well. So, if you watch the first episode and then watch the 8th episode and you go, why is this kooky old lady teaching Rwby things? But, just trying to show that, characters can be more than what they first seem.
God, look at those juicy lemons.
My winter lemons are my favorite.
I imagine they're sweeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those reflexes.
Reflexes.
What are they?
Oh.
I was like, hey Carrie, I came up with the dumb name.
You sure
Do
did.
you like it?
I sure don't.
He says it all the time when you're not around, Miles.
Reflexes.
Reflexes.
We should sell her necklace.
I don't know why I thought you were gonna say lemon.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna
Get your Maria lemon today.
Look, we have pumpkin Pete cereal. Let's get Maria Calavera lemons.
Yeah.
The best winter lemons you'll ever have. That looked like very painful.
Actually, it's really funny. Like, from this moment on is actually a new reality that's taking place inside of Ruby's coma head.
Oh man, that's gonna be amazing once that's revealed.
Yeah, I can't wait until volume
27,
20,
or was it 28?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It depends on which
like
timeline.
it does today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
It's
actually.
cold on this recording day.
Cold for Texas.
Yeah. I have to give the biggest shout out in the world to the cover of Red Like Roses going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got super emotional the first time I watched the scene with music.
Yeah, they did a
just
great
like-
job coming
like-
back to this. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a
man.
while too.
Blast from the past. That really, it was a thing of just like, wow, Ruby's come a really long way. The show and the character.
Oh, the music this season was great. They came out with so much great music. It was hard to keep up with it all.
Yeah, especially chapter 3, which was like almost wall-to-wall music. I still feel bad about that. Speaking of chapter 3, it was really funny, and
It's like it heard you.
I really appreciate everybody on the team because like we had these like flashback moments written into the script, and it was definitely the intent. We're just like, we'll use exactly what was in the episode because we just didn't want to stress everybody out. But everybody kept double checking, like, do you want to like recam them? Like, what do you want to do? Like, are you sure? And I'm like, let's make this easier, everybody. Like, it's okay. But everybody, like, I just appreciate the fact that even 8 chapters in, everybody's still like, well, is this the best version? Like, what should we do?
Mm-hmm.
I always like those sitcom flashback episodes, that you would watch as a kid where it was just them cutting to old episodes. Because you got to relive those moments.
Yeah, like Ross and the monkey.
Yeah, some of the best moments.
Joey and the sandwich.
Oh, it was a good sandwich though. That was chapter 7 for us. They said it was Nora. Nora's kind of our Joey.
Nora's my favorite character.
Exactly.
And Oscar's
Am I
kind
allowed
of
to say
our
that?
missing character.
Phoebe?
And now we're back.
We're back. We got Carrie, we got Miles, we got Connor, and we've got
Alex. I am one of the modelers on the character team.
Yeah. I mean, starting the season, you're the lead character modeler.
Oh yeah.
Along with Tim.
That.
Along with
Yeah,
Tim.
yeah.
Speaking of character models,
Yeah.
I have to get this off my chest. Emerald's hair always makes me think of Knuckles the Echidna, and it has ever since she was introduced into the show. Oh, thank God, it feels so good to finally say that.
Why would you say that out loud?
Oh my God, finally. Okay, we can move on with the commentary now. Sorry, that was just for me.
just the worst.
It's Shadow the Hedgehog and Knuckles the Echidna teaming up to fight good guys.
Well, now after that, Connor, why don't you talk about the scene that you directed and really liked and Miles just ruined?
Yeah, this is a scene where we see Mercury and Emerald kind of alone for the first time this volume, and they're kind of taking stock of where they're at, and Emerald in particular is kind of doubting the path that she's on and kind of feeling out Mercury's feelings on that. So this is kind of, it's a little bit vulnerability, it's a little bit of confrontation between the two of them, and yeah, I think it turned out really well. I also really just like the way the scene looks. This was one of the only scenes where we were able to do the Zone 3 lighting, the highlights.
Yeah, so Zone 3, it's rim light. It's basically that extra, in this case, purple and pink that we've got on that is, so using pencil, that's how we get the cell shaded look. And usually what we have is Zone 1 and Zone 2. Zone 2 is like the normal color, which is basically the lit color, and then Zone 1 is the shadow color. But, we can have more zones, so we often do like a Zone 3 thing. But, Alex...
Yeah, by default, all of the characters have the Zone 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whenever we choose to turn it on and off.
Right, because it gets shaped pretty differently compared to all the rest of the light. It's almost its own independent thing, so it takes a little bit more hand-holding, but when we are able to do it, it looks really good.
I think we only did 2 times this this volume, right? It's this scene, and then at the end of 13 when they're in the airship on the way to Atlas.
I think this volume, yeah, we did a little bit more last year, but we were just trying to simplify things here and there this year. But I think it worked out well. Alex, do you get weirded out knowing that like these are still some of like the last poser era models around?
Yeah,
y'all cleaned them up a lot, but
we did. Every time I see them, I still get like, oh, that's the poser asset. Like it's still.
Which is funny because it's designed in Maya, it's modeled in Maya, but we so many things about it were to make it work better in Poser. That now that we're back in Maya, it's like I feel like every time a Poser,
I see them and it's like, oh man, Poser, like
yeah,
they were built in Maya, but it was still very much set up to be in Poser.
Isn't it? And I'm not smart enough. Isn't it like Poser uses tries and Maya uses quads, right, or something like that? Isn't that a thing?
Speak to quads.
No, not.
Okay.
That may have happened on like export from program to program, but that's more of like a exporting thing, I believe. But
gotcha. New tale.
One of the things I really enjoy about Tyrion is that at first glance he is a raving lunatic that should just be brushed to the side and ignored and just like, ugh, that guy's just nuts, don't even talk to him. But I really like to think that Tyrion is probably one of the most insightful villains, as in like he's really good at observing people, and he likes observing and watching people, and he's very good at taking them apart mentally and also probably physically. But yeah, he likes to just like kind of study people and poke and prod them and mess around with them, and he's so effective at it.
Yeah, he dispenses some good career advice.
He certainly does, yeah. It was really nice though seeing, going back to the kind of the top of this scene, Emerald and Mercury, who traditionally are very kind of antagonistic towards one another and kind of hate on one another a lot, actually seeing them get vulnerable with one another and open up a little bit. Oh, he wants you to get nasty so he can cut you up.
He was leaking a little bit.
That was like, we have the venom at the edge of his tail kind of like welling up in excitement there. And like, it was a question of like, how much do we actually want? Should this be like from when he first jumps in? But it ended up, we were like, no, just that last shot is probably enough.
Was it about the mission?
I don't know.
Saffron, you doing your best to be a good big sister. I love her so much.
Alex, this is, I'm bringing this up not because it's necessarily relevant now, but just because we weren't able to talk with you earlier, but do you want to talk about like the crowd characters and like
no.
I know.
No,
hey, honesty
is kind of hard to talk about.
Yeah, no, I mean the crowd characters were really cool. It was just
there's a lot.
Use the system and workflow that we have is just it's complicated.
We do a lot with baking a lot of pieces that can work
Yes.
together to create even more combinations.
Yes.
It's like
And
the
because
Sims,
it's going
basically.
from one program to the next.
Right.
There's a lot. There's a lot that's involved.
we
But yeah, the
definitely-
crowd characters are really fun to. I think they're still fun to work on because you actually get to see all of the combinations that we can play with. We'll take certain looks from maybe past seasons or past areas, and we'll tweak them to update them so that we get even more variation.
Yeah, we can kind of, with the crowds team, we added Argus specific crowds, but we also, so we were able to tell them use 50% Argus, but use 30% Mistral, and then use like 5% Mantle,
Yeah.
like from stuff that was coming up that we'd had started working on just to kind of get more of a spread of everybody.
Funny story. The day that Tim left, Tim was the previous lead before he stepped down, and he's now in a different city. He still works with us, but
he's had to move.
Yeah. He definitely still works with us. But the day that he left, right after he left, there was a massive fire with crowds, and it was
Not
like,
a literal fire.
No. There was this problem that had happened that we needed to sync up a whole bunch of assets to like get them working in Houdini, and that was my okay.
Right. Because that was for
chapter
one,
here it
wasn't
is.
it?
Yeah. It was like, here it is. Here's my first experience with
lead
this.
responsibility.
And I mean, I knew some stuff about Rwby at that point. For specifically Volume 6,
Right.
I had been working on Genlock, so
Yeah, 'cause,
Genlock had its own things that I was managing and fixing.
Yeah, you've worked on almost every season of Rwby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, every season.
Every
of
season,
Rwby.
yeah.
But yeah, that was a funny story about crowds.
Man, the internet lost their minds over the red-haired woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll never confirm anything because it's fun to
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But it's also obvious.
Yeah,
She's
use
just
your
a
brain.
nice red-haired woman.
I love her.
who
I
lives
love her
in the
coat.
city.
Yeah.
Her coat's really cool.
It's funny, like just me knowing what goes into the modeling and shading and stuff like that. All I see is Gira's coat, because I feel like that's where we kind of figured out how to do that fur
Maybe they have
lining.
the same tailor.
Yeah.
He's pretty well to do.
It's
He
actually
might have ordered it from Atlas.
Their tailor's name is Tim.
Tim Taylor.
Yeah. Tim the
Tim
Toolman
Taylor.
That was
That's the Tim who moved away. Man, this is
sad.
This is a really powerful scene.
This was tough.
When it came time for us to figure out, how is it that Team Junior, Juniper, Ranger, whatever you want to call them, how is it that they're going to get through this low moment? They didn't have this crazy situation with the apathy where they all had to band together in an instant and realize they were kind of acting a fool. We needed something much more personal, and I can't remember. I think it was probably you that was like, "Yo, Pyrrha," and then it just kind of it seemed obvious after that point.
Yeah, I think it helps kind of tie it all together, and I think it's something that, we had so many people that were like, oh, there needs to be a whole arc where, Jean visits the family and all this stuff, and it's and again, we would love to do...
And she's gone.
Stuff like that, but there's just almost only so much screen time, too, you know, so it's
exactly.
we wanted to...
You have to try and be economical with it.
It's funny, Alex, because when she's gone, we had a small continuity issue where there's two shots, I think it was this one and another wide later, that the flowers had been placed there, but they just the layer hadn't gotten put into the comp, and we're like, oh my god, if that goes out and the flowers aren't on the thing, there's gonna be was she a ghost? What? Was that real? And I was like, no, we have to What
is John smoking?
Exactly.
She's like, I actually like these flowers. I think
you know what? These are. I'm gonna treat myself. But no, this was it was a really nice moment. I feel like serious moments with Team Junior are kind of few and far between sometimes, but it was nice to have a team bonding moment without any of the other heroes around, but something just between these three who have been through so much together and who care about each other so much.
One of the, because we talked about this before, the way we split this up is basically Miles and I just take different scenes, and one of the small things that I really wanted to put into this was Nora getting a coffee or hot chocolate for Jean, even though he said no.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was because just at one point, like, we're doing like boards or layout or something, and it was like, but there should be only 2. I was like, no, put a 3rd one in. Trust me. Like, it's
I always wanted to record an ad with just like,
and tiny foreshadowing. Just to make this even more impactful, there was the idea to put in the airship behind Pyrrha, as if while looking up at her, maybe even subconsciously, it was what spawned the idea to look to the Atlas airship.
Yeah, it's a nice little breadcrumb for later.
It's a really dumb thing. We talked earlier how we'd made a version of the airship that was a toy for Adrian.
Shout out to Shane.
Yeah, he did a great job with that. I just remember we were finishing getting the airship, like the final one, finished getting set up, and there was a small chance that we weren't going to have it set up by the time we needed to do that shot in animation. So we actually joked about taking the toy airship and putting it in the background and scaling it up. If we just didn't have time to get the final one finished, we did, and we didn't have to do that. But we were just like, maybe this is a blessing.
All this stuff outside the Arcos, really like all the stuff in Argus at night came out looking so nice. It's just like this
such a nice place to live.
Dickensian kind of quality to it. I ended up like reframing a lot of these shots in this scene because like I just hadn't anticipated it looking so nice, and when I saw the first render, I'm like, fuck. Let's shoot this super wide now.
Like earlier, I talked about like Weston and Sam and the other team, like the concept team really hitting Argus, but the environment team also did an amazing job of, being smart about how they were building things so that they could repurpose it and make this big city that also didn't feel cookie cutter.
Shout out to Vince.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
for that little animation there.
It's funny. There's a fan that, or there's several fans that do this, but they'll do like minimalist frames.
Oh yeah.
Well, they like trace over a frame and do like this like minimal color version of it, and somebody did like the stretched frame of Nora.
Oh, she's like
it was like minimalist
like
bad frame or wrong frame. Yeah.
Man, so if you ever doubted Oscar being best boy,
look at that.
Here
outfit.
You go. It was nice to have this nice little apology moment and really wanting to make throughout the rest of this volume, really trying to make Oscar feel as though he's an included member of the team.
Now that he's got these cool new digs.
Now that he looks cool, he can be in the gang.
That's basically how it works. That's how real life works.
But no, we had a lot of talks about how Oscar is handling this situation this volume now that they're learning that Oz has been hiding a lot of things from them, and talking about just how he's dealing with this existential crisis of will I still be me and what's going to happen, and this was kind of the moment where we really wanted like Oscar's the heroism within him really comes through, and he really is stepping up and taking on this challenge that would just absolutely cripple other people.
I also feel like this is, it's one of the first times that it feels like one of the first times he's acting on his own.
Yeah. And not just being guided to do something.
Right.
And now we are approaching one of the themes of the volume.
Yeah.
Which I still saw a lot of like conversation over, and we can get into it in later volumes, but I think one of the things that we really wanted to do this volume was let our heroes be the heroes and not necessarily continue to follow the orders of the heroes that came before them. People like Oz, people like Crow, and essentially, putting these kids in a situation where the generations above them have either let them down or feel as though they can't help anymore, that all is lost, and putting these kids in a position where they have to say like, okay, well, if no one else is going to help us and if no one else is going to do the right thing, then we're going to have to do whatever it takes to fix this.
Definitely no commentary on the current affairs.
It's crazy how, there's a lot of things happening in the real world that can sometimes be seen as parallels. How about that? But there's a bunch of, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, go back and look at the different adult figures that appear throughout this volume and look at how they behave and then how the kids behave in reaction to them. And there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Oh, snap. Rwby put her foot down.
Oh, this was such an exciting moment. Boosh!
I love the way the music turned out here.
Just because you don't have an idea doesn't mean we're out of options.
When we were working on this, like, there's just a thing where we watch these shots so many times that you just start mocking them or like making up jokes, even though like there's nothing funny about them. And just every time I think of people like turning toward Crow, it's just like in my head, I was like, "Shut up, yeah, stupid old man."
And I say we do it our way.
They're actually starting a fast food chain. Do it our way.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I like it a lot.
That took me a second. And then we shout out to our other conversation. Ruby just needed to learn to believe in herself and stop looking at others for the answers.
Now shut
Get
up,
it,
old
girl.
man.
And it's time.
The beginning of the end of the beginning.
The biggest heist of your lifetime. You thought George Clooney could do it? Nah, dog. Check out these kids.
Ocean 76. All right.
Why am I in a trailer?
We
right
got Carrie. We've got Miles.
Yo.
Next to Miles, we've got.
Hey, it's me. I'm Chris, and I like to party.
What's your actual title, you stupid?
Oh, party animal / head of the audio department.
There you go. And next to Chris is.
Paula, hi. I was the lead on this season, and I've been told to keep the cursing to a minimum.
The lead what? What did
we know your
The lead
nasty
animator.
language?
The lead animator. Yeah, I remember my mind being blown when Paula first dropped an F-bomb.
This whole finale, and I consider like chapter 10 onwards to essentially just be the finale of this volume. It gave me such hardcore Rwby Volume 2 vibes in a really good way of like these kids are gonna go out and kind of break some rules. Okay, hey, I'm just gonna ask this
Shout out
so
to Baby Clary.
so that we can. I'm gonna ask this so that the fans will stop asking it. Yo, that baby got a semblance, or is that just comedic effect crying, Carrie?
No comment.
Oh! Hey guys, right here.
I just assumed it was a comedy thing.
Right there, when the suitcase hits the lump there,
Yeah.
there's an effort for Maria that
Yeah.
Philip placed there. So
You can
lovingly.
barely hear it, but just her going, oh!
You go back and you listen.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
I also want to talk about that scene too. We talked about this in a little episode, but yeah, Paula, everything y'all did in animation with the Nubuck guards was just my favorite thing.
I got super excited when you said we could just kind of go forward with those guys. I was like, "Will do."
Yeah, they're. I love how animated they are as characters. They feel so cartoony. It's really awesome.
Yeah, bringing back. We've been talking about trying to get more of that cartooniness and that silliness back in this volume.
It's just fun.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just super fun. Like that's always the best feeling is like from whether you're in like writing together or working on animation and stuff. When everybody's just like smiling and having a good time with it, it's a good sign.
Yeah, I think that's kind of an interesting juxtaposition too for like kind of just the tone of the season as a whole. I mean, the whole center point of the season being around the apathy and the farm and just a lot of dark like themes, and then you have a lot of these really like fun cartoony moments. It just makes it feel
the whole beginning part of this episode has a lot of really great lighthearted moments.
It's fun. It really does feel like
And then Crow just glowers off to the side.
In my opinion, the kids feel more like kids this volume, but at the
Yeah.
same time, they feel like kids that are having to step up and do the job of adults, and that was like what we wanted, and so I'm really happy with how it all turned out.
Hey, before we get too far away from it, Miles, did you notice anything different about Jean's delivery for Roger?
I don't know. Not now. Why?
Last minute, like I'm being serious. Like hours before we delivered the episode, and we were doing like our final audio pass. We pitched it down a little bit to make it sound like he was like being more serious.
Good. That's so good.
Yeah, it was barely perceivable. It was just enough to go from like Roger to Roger.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's like a step and a half down.
Yeah.
We're about to get to, I think, my favorite joke of the season, which is cashews.
Dude, it's so gross. Like being in mixed review for that and hearing the just. Oh God.
I brought it up a little bit earlier, but Paula, do you want to talk about Maria's eyes and like what those controls were like and people having fun with them, basically?
Yeah, some animators really went all out with her eyes because
like each shutter has its own control, right? Like isn't it something crazy?
Yeah, the antennas have the controls. You can rotate them in every way. It's like you'll see in like some episodes coming up, they can like her eyelids can do something no humans' eyes could really do, which is like flip completely around.
Yeah.
I was hoping you were gonna say something different because that was the one thing I was thinking of.
It was this fun like Wall-E-esque kind of thing.
Yeah, so you can do some super cartoony things with it and give her a lot of personality.
Yeah, it's like her eyes are a character in it and of themselves.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
That's fun.
Oh, the signal's back.
So have we dubbed this like the trigger arc of like the season?
That was a huge inspiration.
Definitely the inspiration.
Because it certainly feels, and I love it because it feels like an homage to Trigger. Like it makes me think
I mean, they're all
Kill
yelling.
or
So yeah.
Kill, Gurren Lagann, that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, it was definitely that was kind of an idea behind of how Argus would like the Atlas Argus base would behave was just this everyone's a little over the top, and you know, it was something that we tried to do our best to balance when we were writing this. Was, you know, there's this like we wanted to have this slightly more fun arc, but also there's this like very serious Blake Gang Adam thing going on.
The whole finale was really difficult to balance from so many different angles. A tonal one, like emotionally, you're going from high energy comedy moments to very personal, very dark moments, and then also just the amount of action, the amount of moving pieces. Like, even though it's a group of people versus one large enemy, there's a lot of aspects to that fight and things that you need to be aware of.
Yeah. It's I have to imagine, like, did you have to write those in different chunks, like focus on the big part, the big battle, and then the
So for a lot of it, and obviously, you know, we trade things back and forth, and do revisions and things, but I think
oh god,
for a lot of it,
good.
I tried taking a first pass at the mech fight, and I think Carrie took the first pass at the Blake,
Adam
Yang,
stuff,
and
yeah.
Adam stuff, and
Which kinda
like
split
a
it
few
up that
things
way.
here and there, but yeah, it really these last few episodes got really tricky because as most people noticed, like, this season was 13 episodes as opposed to the 14 that we did last time, and there was originally going to be another episode. We were going to see some more stuff going on, getting to Atlas and Mantle. We didn't want to necessarily end on as cliffhangery of a note as we did, but when it came down to it, there was still, like, going to a new city like that requires tons of new assets, not just for the environment, but for the people who would be wearing different types of outfits, and there was just so much that needed to be done. We ultimately made the decision to not produce the 14th episode, so that the team could better handle the finale as it stands.
But the next season will start with a bang.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah,
It's
we
very
get to
true.
Atlas,
It was it was a big decision to have to do it, and we tried rewriting these last few chapters in a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
and
in the end, like, you know, it was we just wanted to do what we thought was going to end with the best, like, overall product and story, and I think that's what we did. We didn't want to drag something out that wasn't. We didn't want to turn these last 3 episodes into 4 just to do it. It just didn't make sense. So it was just, or last 4 into 5, I guess. But I don't know. I think it all worked out really well.
Me too.
I think
I'm super
is
happy with the
better
final decision
because
that we
of it.
made.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a question for you guys. I don't know if you covered it in another episode, but I just really, really love the warring old biddies. Where did the ideas for Maria and Cordova come
Well,
from?
yeah, Cordo. We talked about this a little bit, but Cordo, you know, was the old lady in the shoe.
Who's an old idea.
It was old idea, and then it was we had this kind of moment, and Miles, you kind of talked about it, but we've been talking about, you know, Maria, and we were writing and we're outlining, and we had her in, and then we went, well, wait, we kind of want to do the old lady in the shoe. Does that mean we have 2 old ladies? Is that a bad thing? And then we thought,
no,
it's actually the best thing.
That's awesome.
And I think it just led to a different kind of humor and a different type of anime antagonism, you know.
It's so much fun working on this mech.
God, the effects were crazy.
So great. That was establishing the rules of this fight and how the mech worked too was something that we had to be very deliberate about from a script level from the very beginning, of just like, okay, we see this, the cylinder rotates, it locks in, we see the color of the dust when it locks in. It's like, there was a lot, because you have to make sure that the audience understand it, so then the characters can understand it, so then they can act upon what it is that they understand.
And
it's
the
just
audience
like,
will understand how they got to that conclusion and a lot of stuff. But you know, and I'm sure we'll get this into more too, but, like, you know, Paula, we spent a lot of time figuring out exactly how this thing was going to move.
Yeah.
Being very deliberative, you know, we wanted to feel like this very big, we kept bringing up, like, Iron Giant as a reference.
That was
like,
that was what helped drive a lot of the sound design for that, was like how I try to make it feel big and weighty, but also like old tech with the barrel having all the dust and everything,
right.
New tech, or dust tech, if you will. So it was the Iron Giant was a great reference for
I think
all
it
that
turned
stuff.
out really great across the board.
Yeah.
It was a very different thing to have in a Rwby fight, to have something that's very slow.
Yeah.
To have, but then we had all these faster characters around it.
Yeah, all the fight in the forest is just so amazing.
Yeah.
And Garrett really brought it.
He did.
For Adam's send-off season. He really did a great job.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just how these last 4 episodes really just took shape for everything.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a
We were joking earlier about after Maria knocked Rwby in the head that everything after then is just a
coma dream.
Is a coma dream. Everything after this is now Blake's coma dream. Because she got hit in the temple twice in 5 minutes.
Adam, you fast.
He's a fast boy.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that I might have to duck out after this recording to go work on one of our other many Rooster Teeth produced animated series. So in case I don't come back, I just want to say it was an absolute honor getting to work on this volume, and everything that everyone else did to make this season so phenomenal. It's just so humbled to be a part of it.
It was a good season, man.
Been a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Best season I've worked on so far. I'm really happy.
It's definitely my favorite season that we've gotten to work on.
Absolutely.
Me too.
This is it. Got Carrie. Got Philip.
Yep.
Got Connor. Got Penny. Dream Team has assembled. Just like in Chapter 11. When this Dream Team is assembled. It's also much later in the day, and I'm going to be honest, I've gotten sleepy once more. How about y'all? How y'all doing?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm excited for this chapter commentary. This is a good one.
Hey, this was your first big action thing.
Yeah. We did a little bit of that in the
talk about how scared you were?
Mercury Emerald. I was terrified of this whole time. Well, this was a really hard fight because we just inside baseball we had to divide it up between a whole lot of animators. I think there was 20 people or so working on this.
Yeah, by the time it was all said and done.
So it was very fragmented.
Who did that?
And
thug-like
continuity was continuity was a nightmare in this fight scene. Everybody started working at once, and it's just kind of intuitive to some degree. I think the mech is right here and facing this way, and then the next animator would do it slightly differently, and we wouldn't realize it was a problem until we got into a review room a week later, and then it was just a lot of iterations to try to get this thing consistent. But
I think it turned out great, though. It really
yes, and super shout out to lead animators Paula Decanini and Ian Ketward for heading up that whole process. They were amazing on this.
There's also, I would say this is probably, this whole mech fight was probably one of the most effects heavy, both sound and visual.
Oh yeah.
Of the scene. I mean, there's so many different kinds between, the fire missiles, the ice rounds, the rock rounds, the lightning, the wind, everything.
It's just an all-you-can-eat buffet of effects, yeah.
Everything. It was one of those, this is a dumb joke. The cannon was basically one of those Bic pens that has the 3 colors. It was basically just that. Let's just be honest.
I wish my Bic
just
pens
explodes a little bit more than the average pen.
Well, yeah, if you chew on the end too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the mix was really difficult because there's a lot involved with that creaky robot, and then of course this song is really loud, and I want it to be loud, but still want to hear everything else. So there's a lot of juggling.
Yeah, when you get the story moments, that's I feel like that's one of the hardest things about mix is you want everything to win.
Yeah.
You want the lyrics to come through. You want the melody of the guitar to come through. You also want every footstep of her running on the missile to come through because you feel like it feels missing without it sometimes. So I think I did a great job of
oh my god,
balancing everything.
This
that
wave
shot. You wanted to talk about
here.
that wave?
Yeah.
This wave is a triumph of human endeavor, I think. It's it took every single department, assets, post effects, animation, camera, to get that right, because it was just it's insanely complicated to they had to generate the wave in effects, and then basically we just screenshotted what the final wave frame was going to be, took that back to assets, and they created that, and we had to lock in the camera pass before we could do any of that, so we would know exactly what we're seeing the whole time.
Sorry, I missed it. What was the wave?
Penny?
Did we put a sound on that? No.
They get wrecked by these stone spikes here.
I love the little rocks that y'all threw inside the cannon.
Oh yeah, Josh did that. That looks so good.
Yeah, it looks super cool. love Crow using his crow powers.
Yeah.
You never let him caw. I wanted him to go like caw.
As human.
That's his
As a
call.
crow or as a
Like when he transformed,
Oh.
it'd be the Bayonetta.
It could go from a real crow sound to him just saying.
Yes, I want that.
Even better.
We didn't talk about. I'm sorry, I let you down. We didn't talk about the seagulls in chapter 8.
Oh no! Oh, I hate the seagulls so bad. They're in all the ambiences around Argus. I'm never moving anywhere coastal.
No.
The seagulls are great. It really sets the mood.
I was EQing them out of things because they're in every coastal ambience.
Here we see Oscar getting the idea for how they're going to try to take the mech down in the subsequent chapter, but he has a more pressing problem to deal with.
Yeah.
One of the interesting parts about a fight like this, where you have the enemy is not they're like enclosed, is we had to be pretty strategic about making sure we checked in with her from time to time, like emotionally, to see how she's reacting to certain blows and stuff like that. That was part of the storyboarding process. Was
when you also you want to have her react in a similar way to the way her vehicle is, but it's also you know, she's insulated behind this cockpit and theoretically isn't, you know, so a lot of times you exaggerate what she's doing in there to help kind of sell the whole idea of it.
Yeah, or you want to see her looking at something to kind of prompt the audience to understand like what the mech is going to be doing in the next shot. Like,
lots of great stuff. I'll say one of my favorite sounds in the entire series was in that reaction shot of Argus, you know? There's a very special scream in there.
Has that been discussed in these commentaries?
I haven't
Not
brought it up
yet.
yet.
No.
Well,
Connor,
I guess,
you okay
I guess
with
it won't
that?
be.
Okay. Just listen to the crowd. It's very good.
Yeah.
They just feel so panicked. I don't know.
I like the sound we ended up with for the generator.
Yeah. No, I think all of the sounds for the robot worked pretty well.
I love the way that the shield looks.
Like wrapped around, and that was
the wraparound.
That was an After Effects like 2.5D effect, kind of like cheated in 3D, right?
Yeah, we have like a plugin that like warps things around, and it was that was a big setup though.
Yeah.
This was one of my favorite shots of this fight. We really just wanted to like keep the hand in frame the entire time that he's running, so you get this kind of tension of it in the background, going from close up to far away, and then back to the.
It definitely it was a good scale representation too. Oh yeah, more wind.
It's not enough. We had to.
Juice.
This cliff is scaled up like 4 times in animation to give her like a runway to slide down, and you can really see it here when you look at it from the side. It's like, she didn't actually fall that far. But.
Look, she's tired. her aura is getting low. It's hard for her to use her semblance. You don't want to fall in that water. It can get all wet. You know.
You don't want to get wet.
Yeah.
Weiss isn't there to make waves for you this time.
Exactly. She's busy.
Oh, there's a wave.
That was a good wave.
Not a Weiss wave. No.
Excellent wave.
Is it all over?
I think it is.
Really wanted this to be like close enough that it just feels like it disappeared there for
I
a
saw
second.
so many
context.
I saw so many comments that were like, "Oh, that's definitely 2 different shots," and I was like, "No, it's just one."
Yeah, could have been.
It could have been, but it was.
If we were
just
smart.
That's not how missiles work.
Yeah.
All right, and that's the episode, and there's nothing else to talk about. Oh wait,
The
just
best
kidding.
part over here. This is the part that I did.
I was super happy with how this turned
This
out.
fight is so sick.
This is a lot. I think this whole thing was done by John Yang in a very short amount of time.
This part inside the forest.
This part in this second scene. And I was super happy with how all of this turned out. But
I know animation's like way ahead of sound, but this was like around when Spider-Verse was coming out.
Oh yeah.
With all that swinging and stuff.
Oh yeah, they have their forest chase fight as well.
Yeah, we had like already been working on art for months, and then we saw that movie, and we're like, well, I mean, we're not changing ours, so oh well. Yes, we finally got Blake's coat off. It's funny. There's a lot of people when she first got her outfit changed that were wondering if her scar was there, and it is legitimately, honestly, been there the entire time she's had this outfit. It's just the way that the coat fell and it was rigged was that it was just, you really just couldn't see it very well. So people would like find screenshots where they felt like they should have been able to see it and it wasn't there, and they thought, I was like, oh, they didn't put it in. It's like, no, we did. I promise you we did.
Ouch.
Man, why does he hate her temples?
He's a jerk.
Yeah. That's an understatement. This waterfall was another cool collaborative thing where Clifton on the comp effects team, you know, made this scrolling texture that the environment team put in the background, and then that was in the environment, but then y'all also added stuff in the shots, right?
Yeah, so then Josh made the fizz. What's on the bottom?
Like a mist?
Yeah, wherever it hits the water.
I like fizz.
The Sierra Mist in the bottom?
Yeah, Waterfall Fizz, come on.
That's a good soda name. I mean, they've got Mountain Dew. How Waterfall Fizz isn't that different?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. S06. What does it mean?
Remember to do your socks. Love this moment.
Oh, it's so good.
This set turned out so cool.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep. GG.
No, I can't remember exactly when we had the idea to have Yang do this, but it was pretty early in the scripting process, and we just figured it.
I love that
right
before the hit, Philip, you like basically have all the sounds suck out for
Like-
just a second to give it that extra impact.
Every sound is gone
Yeah.
right before that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely hitting him in the face with a motorcycle was one of the highlights.
So satisfying.
Yeah. And this fight coming up.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely one of my favorite ones to design and mix. So many sounds. Like,
There's
they go
a
into
lot.
go into like every little piece of this fight.
This is definitely one of the more dense fights we've had, just like close combat like this.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, this one in the Maria talk, I think.
Yeah.
I was counting out like 30 actions that I had markers for in the span of less than 10 seconds.
That's awesome.
I love it also because I feel like the audience probably thought that it was going to end when Yang shows up, like the episode.
It's like, nah, we're gonna keep going.
Buckle up, motherfuckers. We got a whole other act of this fight to go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Blake.
But yeah,
we need the anime insight. Thank you. We just realized that, like, you know, Blake really never would have had a reason to talk to Yang about this, so we had to make sure he got it across.
I love that run.
Yeah.
Mhm. A lot of good momentum, and I like the return of like using Ember Celica to like boost around
Yeah,
the battlefield. Yeah.
We're trying to show she's getting smarter.
Mhm.
And these awesome effects.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
You can hear tiny pebbles falling off of her shoe. I
It
hide
helps.
these
Every
things.
little thing helps.
I hide these things mostly just for me, I think.
No, it's there's a thing with sound that I think this is true visually too, but I know we bring it up during sound reviews a lot, where there are so many things that it's more about the feeling than the actual sound itself. Like, you don't necessarily want people to hear the pebbles in that moment, but you want them to have that feeling, and if it wasn't there, it would feel kind of empty.
Yeah. No, you're selling like the illusion that this thing is real that you're seeing, even though it's all just polygons.
Right.
You know, no sounds.
Oh, sweet moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is some anime logic, but we liked it.
We're protecting each other.
Hell yeah. Chapter 12. You've got Carrie and
Melanie.
Connor.
And
my name is Joe Clary, and I'm great. Hi.
Wow. That was
It
a
started
good.
so strong.
That was a very good voice that you did. That
I
was,
wish you should keep up the radio voice.
Yeah.
You should just do it in sentences.
Well, really, it's just because you want to do ASMR. Is what it comes down to. All right, so we're right back in, picking up right where we left off with this giant robot fight.
You said robot?
I said robot. It's
Okay,
fun
cool.
sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Quirky.
I just kind of mess with it. Connor, did I direct this or did you direct
You
this?
directed this, buddy. This is like this whole episode.
This is like a thing that we started talking about towards the end of the season. The person who directed chapter 1, I don't know who they are because they're not me. That seems like a different lifetime, is what it feels like. Even just by the time we were working on like chapter like 9 or 10, we would go back and rewatch chapter 1, and it'd be like, who did we did this year? Really?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was a few years ago.
It was a long
Carrie,
season.
I need to tell you something.
Yeah.
You're the director of the show.
But it's
maybe not that episode.
It seems just like a lifetime ago. Like even the intro, like we watch it before every episode, you know, when we do our QC watch throughs and stuff, and it's just like, we made this year? Wow.
It's pretty impressive. I think that's what you're trying to say.
I'm
so pretty.
Trying to toot my horn.
This is a great little beat that just happened where we see her like derelict in her duties, and she kind of like ignores the call from the base and makes the choice that kind of dooms everybody.
That's something we was just missing from one of our first drafts of the script, but we made sure we wanted to get that in just to really help solidify that's like, no, she's definitely going overboard on this. She should not be.
Yeah,
doing
it's like her
this.
ego and her pride that kind of gets in her way.
It's really, I mean, as the great Randy Newman once said,
no,
short people have no reason to live.
Let's not bring him into
this. He did
this.
say that, apparently. We disagree. We disagree.
We had an entire offline Randy Newman conversation where apparently is a song called Short People. And as a short person, I am offended.
I just want to say that I love all the acting performances on Maria when she's flying.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about the show.
I feel like you don't realize kind of how crazy she is until she's actually piloting, and by then it's too late. It's like we're already in the air. Great.
It was definitely a, well, who's going to fly this thing? I mean, you know, we've never, like, said that, like, Crow or any of, like, who's the most, you know, at least at the time, is the most capable, like, advanced huntsman or huntress, like, who's going to do this? Weiss can't do this. And we thought, well, I mean, it would make sense for Maria, too, and it'd be kind of funny.
She's the most blank slate, kind of.
She
you
is.
can,
I mean,
you can
like,
buy that she has it in her background.
Yeah. It was funny. We actually didn't talk about this in it was chapter 10 where this started. Originally, this is just one of those, like, you know, production kind of things that comes up. Originally, she was going to have a wire coming from the console to her eyepiece, and it was like we made it and we started using it and we realized how much of a pain it was going to be.
Lazy animators. They didn't want the cape. They didn't want the cable.
Didn't want the hair.
No hair.
So
they didn't win that battle.
I think it
didn't
was
shave all the hair.
Next season.
I think it was a good compromise. We just made it a little. In this world, it's green tooth technology, and you know, that's not canon. Don't actually.
That's the first time I've heard that, green tooth.
Yeah, because I made it up right now.
This next little bit was
This
really
the fun
fun.
commentary.
We did a lot in the animatic phase of just like kind of like prolonging these beats here. Like whenever she's charging up to shoot her, we just like cut to the maximum amount of reactions and kind of.
I like doing that kind of
tried
like
to build it
dilated
up.
time thing just to really show to everybody what's happening.
Yeah, I feel like we played with that more this chapter than any other one.
I can't believe she's about to just murder a child.
I know.
Yeah.
Look.
Reaction.
You know, look. She
That is crazy.
She wasn't listening. She gave her a lot of chances. There was this, you know, like, you know, kind of weird thing that we needed to rectify, and I think it worked in the end. It was just like, I mean, they are trying to steal a ship. I mean, like, you know, but we also really wanted to show that Corda was definitely
Crazy.
going overboard. Yeah. I don't know if she's crazy. I think that she has
temporary.
This is so good.
Yeah.
All these effects. This looks great.
Yeah, this is another, like,
You really feel the weight there. It's good.
big undertaking between all the asset team and the effects team of you know, some of those were generated procedurally in like After Effects, and some of those were you know, sculpted by hand in modeling. You know, it's kind of this mix of everybody, and then animation turning them on in the perfect order.
True team effort.
True team effort. You did, Maria.
Bummer. That was fun.
I just there's so many of like fun eye animations in this. It's like I feel like they got better and better as we went. Vito did one in chapter 13 that was like my favorite, and it was in like the last scene with her.
When they're looking at Atlas.
Yeah. Spoilers. That's fine. I'm just kidding.
It's like if you're watching the commentary before you watch the season, you messed up.
You're doing it right.
Hey, no, it's better to hear us.
Yeah.
There's no wrong way to watch Rwby. Is that what you guys are saying?
Illegally, that's the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we'll find you.
If you're illegally watching this commentary, just stop it.
But also, how?
You're like a short person to me.
Also, I just want to say this because I'm really proud of it.
Yes.
So this fight, right at the beginning of it, Joel had gone on Christmas vacation. He's like, all right, here you go. Just figure it out. And I thought...
Well, let's not throw him under the bus like that. I think
No, it wasn't.
he helped out a little more than that. But this is true. This is the first fight that you kind of led.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it
I
turned
helped
out
with
great.
the others, and this one I actually...
It was one of the first fights. I guess 7 was the first fight, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there's a lot that goes into that. We get it boarded, and we have the animatic of it, and we go over that a ton. But then, every animator adds their own thing to it, and it's also, it's our responsibility to then make sure that what they're adding makes sense with the person that comes after them and before them, making sure that, the rock that got destroyed shows up in all of the shots it's supposed to, like that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a very big undertaking.
Also, I wanted to do a shout out. So for this season, we had like a core fight team, but just because of how quickly we needed to get this done, we added 2 more people, which was Caitlin and Vito, and they did a great job.
Oh yeah,
Caitlin and Vito kind of cut their teeth with fighting, doing fight animation in Chapter 9 in the Mercury Emerald fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that was like action light.
Yeah.
Thrown in the deep end here.
Well, this is action heavy, but it's also so emotionally charged.
It's very emotional.
Yeah. Hey,
and
that Chapter 9 fight was emotional too.
That's why I was selfish and directed it all myself. I love that light that we put into the smoke. Oh yeah, this is one of the most redrawn stills I've seen in the entire season of Yang catching the sword.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I really like the effect that Assets made with the crater.
Yeah. That was like one of the last things that was one of the last assets made for the show. Alex did that, because the sets, assets usually reaches a point in any season where they're done with, effectively what we would call like principal assets. It's all the things that were called out and all the things that, they know that are there, but then things either come up or, they kind of needed Adam's animation to be able to do that kind of stuff. I'm talking over the best part.
Ow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Brutal.
So no one's gonna believe me, and that's fine. Apparently, something very similar happens in Nier Automata. I have played an hour of that game, so I didn't know that was a thing, but it looked very similar. So
I forgot about it.
Yeah.
That's funny because you were actually referencing Nier Automata for the other fight, the mech fight.
Exactly. Yeah. It was just the wrong thing, but I mean, we
ripped off the wrong.
the mechanics of how that mech fight would work, especially how it involved the cliff and everything, was Miles and I we've each played about 2 or 3 hours of Nier. And the first boss fight is very similar. It's, this giant mechanized robot thing, and you're kind of on this cliff edge, and we're like, oh, this is interesting. And we kind of use that as the basis. And it was funny that nobody got that, but then this thing that we didn't plan for at all was
something similar was the very beginning of the Adam Yang fight. Apparently, 3 shots were very similar to Baruto.
Yeah,
the fight in there.
Look, guys, there's been so much media created.
Nothing's new. That's the funny thing though. I don't know that those were the Nier thing wasn't actually a reference.
Yeah, no.
That's just coincidental at a certain point.
I guess at a certain point there's only.
Uh-oh.
What's here? It's Levi. We started calling him that just because I got tired of typing Leviathan in the script.
The base is in panic.
It makes sense.
Oh no.
Whenever he's coming up from the water in a little bit is one of my favorite 3D effects that we've done.
Oh yeah, that one turned out
so
really
cool.
Great. But we'll talk about that after this, I guess.
And not only that, there's a horde of flying Grim.
There's a lot.
So many.
It's a good thing they still have that giant robot. Oh wait, Team Rwby done messed up. Or did Cordo mess up? Who messed up?
All the above.
I guess really
good
like
people on all sides.
Salem. I don't know.
The gods.
Flame Salem.
The finale. We did it.
We're
Joe's
here.
already giggling.
He's a giggle boy.
All right. So we've got myself, we've got Joe.
Hey.
We got Chris.
Hey, I'm back.
We got Connor.
Yep.
Man, and joining us we have
Aaron, hi.
Aaron.
I win.
And-
Aaron win.
And what do you do here?
The lead concept art.
Yeah.
All she does,
I forgot what her job was.
all she does is win.
Ew, what
Haven't
is
heard
this?
that one before.
I know.
2.5 men. What is this?
Wow,
We got some. Speaking of new concept, there's some new costumes here. How was it working on those?
Oh, I didn't work on these.
Wow.
Good segue, Connor.
I did that ship.
But she.
I did the ship.
You did. Well,
And this environment.
You also led the other concept too. But
Also
you've been a concept artist since Volume 3.
Yes.
We brought you on at the very beginning, and you did like Auburn and Bronze, and then were like
all
some of the
incidental
the
teams.
first things you
Yeah.
did. Starting the season, you've been the lead concept artist. Yay!
I love this effect. I think it's really cool looking.
Yeah, Penny did some
Witchcraft,
yeah.
She did some magic. Yeah, everybody was like, we don't really know how this is gonna work. These ships are very different sizes, and we're just gonna throw them in there and hand it to comp.
It worked out great.
Yeah, no, they did phenomenal. Penny.
Yeah, we had for these updates we had for Oscar and then Neo and Cinder we had Ainley who was the original concept artist and we still have her do some of the key characters. She did a revamp on these and it was nice because we got them started at the beginning of the season and they weren't needed until the end. So for once there wasn't this like huge like get it done kind of feeling behind it.
Low pressure.
Dude, I'm so glad you finally gave me my kaiju to work on.
Yeah.
I was elated when I found out we were gonna have basically
Ooh, I
like
love the swim
our
animation.
own version of Godzilla. Yeah, that swim animation's so cool. For the longest time we didn't have like the overlay there, so I was like, what?
Well, you didn't have the overlay, and you didn't have the crowds in either, so it was like just like a blue plane that we're staring at.
That was it.
Why is everyone so scared?
Yeah.
It's
What
just-
is this?
It's just beautiful blue
Phobia of
skies.
open water,
That's all it
whatever
is.
it's called.
Oh man, Aaron, do you work on a lot of creatures like the Grimm?
Not this season, but I have in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
I
your-
oversaw a lot of the Grimms,
Yeah.
though.
What's your favorite Grimm?
Ooh, for this season,
Yeah.
oh my god.
It's tough.
I know.
'Cause
They're
good
all really
ones.
cool.
They're
Probably
good for different reasons.
Yeah, probably the kaiju, honestly. The Leviathan. Yeah.
Levi.
I like this little beat of everybody is kind of feeling like they've defeated Cordo and they're flying off with the airship, and Ruby's sort of the only one who's having doubts about whether.
Good girl, Rwby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But she's got a conscience, and that's what's important.
It's fun to see Cordo like evolve as a character over the last few episodes too.
Mhm.
I think she was definitely a character I was not super fond of very early on, but
yeah, she's a racist.
Well, okay, I was trying to beat around the bush there, but yeah, she's totally wearing her racist flag.
We solved racism.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Look, if you give a good enough anime speech, racism goes away. I wish, God, I wish that was true.
Power of God in anime.
On my side.
Are they gonna just fly off of this ship?
They should.
No.
What if?
Hell no.
Very different.
Well, yeah, we talked about that in an earlier episode. I'm trying to remember what it was for now. People who are watching this through are going to be like, why can't you remember? I was like, because I did it 4 hours ago. Just like, when we got to this part, it came up when Miles and I were writing, we're like, well, why don't they just fly away? They could.
Mm-hmm.
It would seem disingenuous for them to not even like bring it up, since we had Maria be like, hey, we could. And in a way, I think it was, I think she knew that, she was hoping that was the answer that was going to happen.
Right. You can kind of see that on her look when she turns away.
Right.
She's like, it was a little bit of a test of kind of like,
Yeah,
hey, I'm putting this on the table.
Technically, we could. Yeah, this water was like
so good.
So tasty.
One of the coolest things
Refreshing.
we've done.
Real quick, I would love to see like some fanfic of some like the darkest timeline where Team
lights turn
Rwby and
off?
they all leave. Yeah, lights turn off.
Oh, yeah.
They all leave and go elsewhere, and what the Leviathan actually does to this town.
No.
Adrian would grow
or Nukalave,
100
like
100 sizes, and he would take them down.
oh, Baby Clary.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Joe?
I'm very proud. Very proud.
She's basically like the most famous voice actor in the entire show.
As she should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
She did some
I'm really
amazing work.
glad people liked Adrian because I feel like anime babies are really annoying. So.
Yeah, we talked about this just like a little bit. How it's like originally it was like a baby, but then it was like maybe we should do more of a toddler. Because you did that concept, right?
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
You made him cute as shit.
Well, we also considered doing a voice actor for the baby as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
We tried a couple options of doing like I think it would have worked fine.
some folks do it really well. It's just I think it worked out better the way that we had it.
Yeah.
Or have it now.
Here we see Rwby getting the idea to use her silver eyes.
It's like that episode of Chibi. It's the last episode, and there's a giant Graham.
I love
to do.
I love everybody's reaction there when she first suggests it.
Yeah, it's like
Hannah Novotny did that animation.
yeah.
You get Oscar and Nora's reactions in particular. They have to like kind of poke up over the seat to get eyes on her.
What I'm curious, like what the idea was. Like this is a pretty bold move, right? Like she just not even. I guess it was maybe 5 or 6 chapters ago. Talked to Maria about the concept of just using her silver eyes to begin with, and now she's looking at this massive Grim.
I mean, it came back down to it. Nothing, there's actually we had some slightly different earlier version of the speech that was a little bit different, but kind of the idea behind it is like they have to try. It doesn't look like anything else is working. If she can at least try and it works to any degree, it's something, So that's, I think kind of what was bigger part of this message too is I think a lot of people probably would have told her not to do it, but she needs to follow what she thinks is best. Real quick, I know there's another affection. I wanted to go back real quick to that water shot. Ryan, I think his last name is Bowden, and Sean Cunningham. They both knocked that giant water sim out of the park. That was another example of we talked about this I think for chapter 2 of just like having some time to do the R&D for that. I mean, they basically did that entire effect first without the animation and just them doing like a loose test just to see if it would work at all. But then because that happened, they were able to do it with the real animation pretty quickly. But I still think it took like overnight or a weekend to sim. Like it was like we only had a couple chances at it.
It looks great.
It turned out really great.
Yeah, it was a great sim, and it was a big one too. But then also the comp team for how they worked it in, so it looks seamless with everything else in the environment.
Yeah, that was another chunk that Penny took, and it turned out really great. Speaking of art that Aaron did, how many matte paintings did you do in?
Oh gosh,
like a week.
I mean, this.
You did all of these?
We basically had to find all of these screen grabs from previous seasons and like up-res them. I think there's at least 15.
Wow.
Yeah, so Aaron did all of the line work for everything, and then
some of the coloring. And then we had Weston and Sam, and I think Kevin did paint the backgrounds, and then some combination of all of them did, and Pat did the coloring.
Yeah, the internet hated you for that because it just made everybody feel all the feels.
It's HD Rwby.
Yeah. HD Remix 2.8.
Yeah.
I really like this just beat in the script, and how it translated, but just her kind of being overwhelmed and like needing to not knowing what to do, but it's really clever to buy herself just a little bit of time.
Yeah,
my giant blue daughter.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite character to design this season.
I know, it was
great.
Jin.
She's awesome. Like just the overall aesthetic of the character and like the smoke and everything is just the smoke is amazing looking. Like
it all ties together really, really well.
Yeah, I agree.
We see she kind of respects the move.
Yeah, that was so interesting to me because I remember hearing just the line kind of out of context, and like it was funny because I was like, wait, what did Rwby do that was so clever? And then sure enough, when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, that's such a clever move, like a real clever play.
This was another part, Carrie, that we worked on a lot in the animatic, just getting the sequencing of these memories.
There's also a Rwby Rex hidden in one of the mats.
Oh, is there really?
Stadium, yep. If you go back to the stadium with Juniper.
Wait, spoilers! You're telling people where to find it.
It's very hard to find.
It's very hard to find.
It's like a Where's Waldo.
I think this is one of the only shots that Joel animated.
Yeah,
this season.
Summer. That's a big shot.
Yeah.
I mean, people went crazy when they saw Summer.
This little like mini song in here is one of my
favorites.
Really
it's a good one.
That guy loves it.
It just gives me power.
The construction team, they love it.
They're all really digging it.
Oh, that's great.
It's the new Village People.
Basically.
Yeah.
And they're all dancing like it. God, I'm so hyped for this next moment. This was such a cool moment to design for. Just this whole last bit here.
Uh-oh. He just has a chocolatey outer shell.
It's like a chocolate bunny.
Now, it's so funny. We're talking about references before. Like, bunny? Some people, I guess, see some, like, Gurren Lagann references in this.
No! Some?
It definitely wasn't intentional.
What? Boom.
It was.
Boom. Wow.
I love the ding.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, that was a last touch for me. I was like,
This is another huge, like, everybody, animation, effects, modeling, everybody coming together to create this, like, really cool final moment. Because we wanted Cordo to come back in because she got saved by Rwby. We also, the fight was kind of like needed to get over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just needed to be done. So we wanted to have this like big finisher. I love this whole moment.
I don't know. You could have made that last like 7 more episodes, man.
Yeah.
Just do it.
People love it when fights drag out between episodes.
Dragon Ball Z was famous for
that. Our boy Levi.
Good old Levi. People were trying to give him a new name.
They call him everyone. He's Levi to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, Cordo, you're kind of cool. I just hope you stop that racism thing.
Yeah.
I think she does.
Just don't let me catch you and your unsavory friends.
You and everyone but Blake did a great job.
And then we see her riding off into the sunset.
Right off.
Continue.
Yeah, there she goes. Her. Oh boy.
This turned out well.
Who animated that shot?
That amazing shot.
Our friend Scott animated.
Yeah.
The ship there.
Animation associate producer. He animated one shot.
He was pretty hype about it.
Yeah, he started his own reel now.
Yeah, it's a real short reel.
Yeah. Hey, look, they always say be concise.
Yeah.
So what's more concise than one shot? One really good shot.
Great shot.
You see, Crow is kind of starting to turn a new leaf here. He puts away his flask.
Yeah. We had to be really careful to make sure that you could, in fact, hear liquid inside the flask. So
it doesn't look like it's
just like, oh, sorry, I'm
empty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish that she hugged him and walked away. He was like, I was just out. Don't tell Rwby.
Hey, Rwby, see if there's a beer back there.
Yeah, I think you were pretty adamant. You came back like after our mix review and you're like, by the way, please put more liquid in my flask.
I just kind of realized in like a second watch, I was like, I don't know if this is clear enough.
Yeah.
This is you see Maria finally giving Crow some begrudging respect because he's kind of been a shit show for a lot of the season.
Yeah, basically all of the season.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but a big part of the season was everybody. This is definitely a learning season.
It's also the season of the Bumblebee.
Maybe we'll see. Like people, it happened when I was on Rewind. It was just like somebody was like, "Can you just confirm?" That's the thing. It's like,
wait and see.
Watch the show.
You can't rush.
Fair enough.
True love.
Yeah, fair enough.
It has to come naturally.
Fair enough.
I love this shot. I love the point of view, and then just all the kind of anime reactions she does.
Yeah,
Matt Drury,
little wishies.
It's probably the only non-fight thing Matt animated most of the season.
He did the shot where they come off the trolley in 7
that's right.
too, where they step off.
This is super interesting to me because of the fact that like I pondered this question before I knew what actually had happened here.
Like how he managed to not crash.
Yeah, I mean I was like, how does he know how to do this?
But someone
was clever
in him does.
Ugh.
Don't say it like that.
Yikes. Wow.
Get up on the mic and do ASMR.
No, please don't. For the love of God.
I'll do it once the recording's
done. Does Ozpin do ASMR for Oscar?
Oh God.
Absolutely.
That'd be horrible.
I feel like ASMR should be its own Rwby team.
Big shout out to the lighting team on this section too. The lighting looked great.
Oh yeah.
This was the other scene that we did.
We were able to do the rim light for.
Yeah.
I'm over here thinking of ASMR, like what each of those letters could represent.
The most soft-spoken team, for sure.
No, ironically, they all yell a lot. Speaking of more mappings, we did it.
We're
we
here.
Finally here.
Atlas and Mantle.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. Shout out to Weston and Sam for knocking it out of the park.
So pretty. So pretty.
It's been really nice to have especially since but Aaron, before you came on, it was basically Pat, and then after that it was you and Pat for a very long time. So it's like having the ability. It's like, okay, well, we can dedicate just one or two people for like a week or so, like on this one thing. Like it's really nice.
These warships are so cool looking.
Yeah, we had a
Scott.
They're so cool.
Actually, I think the Mantles are the other ones we actually brought over from Poser and cleaned back up.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I'm so hype about.
I love this last shot.
Yeah.
I love the way it turned out.
I'm so hyped for next season. Like.
Me too.
Me three.
That's a great. I think that's a great note to end on, for the season.
Yeah, I we talked about before how like there was originally another episode, but we made the call earlier and to just kind of to park it there, and I'm really happy we did.
Yeah,
because it leaves a lot open for people, and I'm really excited to start answering those questions for people. We're already working on Volume 7, and I'm very excited about everything we work on. Yeah,
I feel like it's hard to end a volume. Like it's hard to find the right moment to park it on where you feel like resolved on everything that you've been watching for this whole season, but it still leaves you wanting to see what happens next,
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like y'all did a good job of when we ended up cutting that episode, like finding a good place for that. And also you ended up pulling a couple of the scenes that were in that one.
Right. The Cinder scene and then the post credit. I mean, the post credit scene was over, but that Cinder scene was originally in the last episode, but we just pulled it ahead. I think I'm really happy with how everything turned out, and yeah, I was to what you're saying. I was expecting more people to be like, "Oh, it's a cliffhanger," but I think people liked it because it was. We had this. It's so hard to find something that resolves, but then also is still interesting. And I think this was a way to say like they got there, but I mean, for one, we finally got to show that Atlas is this floating city, which is something we've been like holding on to for months or years.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry.
It's like reading a book, right? You get to an end of a chapter, and that's, to me, that reads like the end of a chapter. I mean, I know technically it's the end of a volume, but in this instance, I think that's a good way to stop, put down the book, step away, and come back later this year and check out what's to come.
No, I am this is the part where you should say shout out to everybody who worked on this team.
There's so much passion.
Please watch the credits. There's a post credit scene, so watch it for that, but also just watch the credits. Everybody on this team pours their heart and soul into everything they do, and that's why the show is what it is. That's been the case since Volume 1, and it's the crazy thing is it's still the case to this day. You would think that 6 seasons in, I would expect people to start to get disinterested, but I mean, actually a lot of us here started in Volume 3, and the fact that I'm talking to y'all, you're still excited about
definitely
about this show is, I think, says a lot about.
I mean, even
the heart of it.
I started as like a fan, so
yeah, and you're just like
Volume 1.
It
still excites me.
What was everybody's favorite episode for the season?
For me, it was Chapter 6 for sure. I really that just kind of like plays to my particular interests. I think the most with like the horror stuff and the suspense.
Probably same. I love the apathy. It's so cool.
And I think that one ends up feeling like a little bit more like we talked about 5 and 6 being self-contained, but 6 feels self-contained unto itself even in a way that the end feels like really nice and
on its own.
What about you, Joe?
I did love the apathy episode, but also episode 3, just seeing the whole history, and it, to me, it just kind of you got to see what a big world it was and all the history and everything. It just, I don't know, it was awesome to see.
I think it was my favorite because this is gonna sound really cheesy. I'm just so proud of everybody. That was the hardest thing we've ever done, and it just turned out so well. Like that episode had every right to be just okay. And everybody came together in such an amazing way.
I wanted to
what about you, Aaron?
Probably just the apathy episode is probably my favorite. And I've got a terrible person. I forgot what episode Saffron and Tara.
7?
I love 7.
Seven's really good.
7's great because of the fight. Like everything about that. It's just like What are you?
All about team apathy, man.
Yeah.
That was a great just on its own, like Connor said. I think that episode stood on its own very, very well. Start to finish. It was a great episode.
It's funny what you were talking about chapter 3. That is the only episode this volume that you directed.
I was selfish,
the entirety of. No, I mean, like I felt great about handing that off to you. But the whole time I was like, I moved on to the next chapter, and like things were like pretty easy for me for that time because my deadlines were really far away. And like Carrie, I would just see him at the end of the day, like just sweating it out.
Well, because we split up per scene, but I mean, so every so worked an episode, but we had at one point, not at that point, at that point we probably had like 23 animators or so, and so the way things break out, we would each have about 10 to 13 animators that were working on scenes that we were working on at the time. So there a period of time it was basically 23 animators that it was just me directing. Yeah, hey, we made it to the post credits. We weren't sure.
Hey, wow!
Big shout out to Bill Orndorff for being one of the few characters or voice actors that can play. I don't know how many Berengal there are in this.
Oh, there's a lot.
This many characters in one shot.
It's definitely a record.
Simultaneously, he definitely wins that. And Hazel.
Yeah.
This I love because this is kind of like the only time that we see Salem like outside of her keep, other than chapter 3, or I guess at the end of volume 3, right? She's not.
Yeah,
she's not.
She's standing outside.
But like it gives you the sense immediately that something is different. Something has changed. She's no longer willing to confine herself to that room. She's going to be more active, and then of course we see here the
spooky
her army of minions.
Oh man, I think this is a fantastic. Well done.
Did you like that?
That was good. I got scared. This is a fantastic post-credit scene, I think.
No, I think it's turned out great.
Really happy with just how everything kind of came together here.
And speaking of that,
that's the end.
We're done here. So thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate it. Hope you love Volume 7, and we love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.